It is Thursday, the 24th of October, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. WPC Kiana Mahabir is in stable condition and warded at hospital as she continues to improve from gunshot wounds to her head, hand, and torso. Mahabir, 30, was shot outside her Caroni home on October 22nd, shortly after returning from performing abroad, and was being lifted from the Piaco International Airport to her home by a friend. Investigators are working on the theory that she was followed home from Piaco International Airport and was the victim of a robbery gone wrong. Mahabi was parked in the driveway of her home in Kelly Village with a female friend at around 1:35 a.m. as she waited for the front gate of the compound to open. A car stopped nearby and two suspects, one armed with a gun, got out and approached the woman. One of the men tried to open her door but was locked. Mahabi refused to open the door, and the gunman shot her through the glass before getting into the car and speeding away. She was shot in her right breast, right hand, and twice in her head. A bullet remains lodged in her stomach, while one of the bullets to her upper head exited through her mouth. According to senior police officers, Mahabir underwent surgery on October 22nd and further tests and scans on October 23rd, so doctors can determine the way forward for her treatment. Her family have been praying and have asked for the public to continue praying on her behalf. Meanwhile, 5 overnight murders are engaging the attention of the TTPS. Initial reports indicate the murders took place in Barataria, Maloney, Carpachima, and other parts of the Northern Division. One of the murders involves a Venezuelan national. We will have more as information comes to hand. Finance Minister Colin Imber said the tugboat Solo Creed has been arrested in Angola in his wrap-up speech at the Senate debate yesterday on October 23rd. The Senate passed the 2024-2025 budget on its third day of debate after previous passage in the House of Representatives. On October 7th, the tugboat was touring the Baji Gulf Stream when the latter reportedly overturned on a reef off Tobago and began leaking bunker fuel into the waters of Cove and Tobago. The oil contaminated parts of Tobago's coast and also reportedly reached Grenada and Bonaire, spilling 51,000 barrels of oil, with the government donating so far $50 million to a cleanup out of $134 million sought by the Tobago House of Assembly. On Wednesday, Minister Imber said on Friday last, through the Attorney General's office, TNT arrested the tug Solo Creed in Angola, which was the abandoned barge off Tobago that caused so much damage in Tobago. The arrest of the ship means it's restricted by court to secure a maritime legal claim to prevent fleeing and avoiding penalties. ILP political leader Austin Jacquon is open to contesting a seat for the upcoming general elections for the United National Congress, but only political leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is open to the idea. In an interview with Guardian Media yesterday, Warner expressed his willingness to return to the political battleground, saying, quote, "I don't think I should shy away if there's a political change to be had. If Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar feels I can function best in place A, B, or C, I will do that. My objective is to make the country a better place," end quote. Asked if he's eyeing the Chaguanas West constituency, now represented by UNC's Dinesh Rambali, he said, if I'm offered Chaguanas West, I will not have any work to do because I left that constituency with everyone happy as ever, contented and pleased with my work and performance. I'm sure after 10 years, they have not forgotten. The opposition UNC is questioning government's decision to reopen the Point-of-Pear refinery when the ruling administration decided to close it in the first place. Government claims the refinery was becoming a financial burden to the state and could no longer be allowed to operate and threaten the national economy. However, Senator Arnold Roberts contends the refinery is closed and challenged the decision to get it back in operation. Roberts focused on what he described as a decline in oil production in the energy sector and the need to revive competitiveness in the industry instead of the downward trend being noticed in specific areas. Trinidad and Tobago's food, festivals, flora and fauna, and historical sites have all contributed to TNT recently being named as one of the top 10 countries to visit in 2025 by global travel authority Lonely Planet. In the 15th edition of its Best Travel Hot List, the travel guide highlighted 30 must-visit destinations around the world. Trinidad and Tobago ranked among the top 10 alongside countries including Paraguay, Cameroon, Lithuania, and Fiji. The Trinidad Republic, the publication says, its food scene is a panoply of flavors: African, East Asian, French, Spanish, English, Dutch, Chinese, and indigenous influences. TNT's headliner through its carnival. This month's long extravaganza features steel pan competitions, stick fighting battles, and calypso showdowns, and culminates in a vibrant costume parade that takes place on March 3rd and 4th, 2025. Among the highlights in the country that were showcased in Lonely Planet: bird watching at Hatco Experiences Ace Wright Nature Center, water sports, curry crab and dumpling at Pigeon Point, Tobago, as well as the Temple of the Sea in Waterloo. And that's great news in which to end this morning as our 6 a.m. newscast. That's news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming up at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
And neighbors, it is the 24th day of October. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. It is World Richard Ragoobarsingh's Day. It is indeed. All right, so good morning to you all and happy birthday to Richie Rich. Of course, on the show, it's Richard, it's Paul, it's Ruben and Shane in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. 25 degrees on both islands. Yeah, 25 at Piarco, 25 at Crown Point in Tobago. And let's see if the Met Office has updated their weather forecast. They have not. I'll check Google just now. I didn't do that. All right. So good morning to you, Paul.
Morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
How
Good morning and
art
happy
thou?
birthday to Richard Ragoobarsingh and Dr. Keith Rowley.
Yeah.
And any other people celebrating birthdays today.
Yeah, would have been Chris's birthday today too. So yeah, a lot of people. My good friend Jillian in Toronto, it's her birthday today as well. A lot of 24th of October people, I tell you. A lot of them. All right. Traffic wise, let me just tell you, there's an accident by the interchange. All right. It is westbound. It's just after the interchange. They head west. And there is another one, Uriah Butler Highway. And this is where? Funny one. Before Caroni, if that helps you. So you got some traffic there as well. Okay. Yeah. And good morning to all those locked on Facebook, on YouTube, on Alexa, and TuneIn, and of course on METV. Yeah. Good morning to you all. Yeah. All right. So I didn't hear that story, Paul, but you said it's one of the 10 places to visit Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. More Tobago.
By lonelyplanet.com. Trinidad and Tobago's food, wide variety and diverse food scene, which we know about. The flora and fauna, the northern range parts, the rainforests, historical sites, and our festivals, including Diwali and Carnival, have been highlighted as putting us in the top 10 best travel spot hot list. I went and dug for that this morning. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
that
hear.
great?
Yeah, it is actually.
In spite of everything, it's still the place to visit in 2025.
Yeah.
They specifically cited doubles, roti, curry crab, and dumpling.
Yeah. Trinidad's a lovely place, you know. A lovely place.
Trinidad and Tobago is a lovely.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago, the diversity of cultures and
we just need to get a hand on the miscreants.
We just have to get the miscreants and slide into that part. Did you say 5 murders overnight?
5 murders overnight. Different parts of the country too.
Holy Maloney. 5.
5.
Wow. Yeah, really have to get a hand on this. I think, I think the citizens are just fed up with the crime situation. Let me not say think. I know they are. And the powers that be, I don't know, 26 billion in 10 years. That's astonishing. Nothing to show for it.
Well, I wouldn't say nothing to show for it. I would say it's woefully inadequate.
Okay, let's go there then.
Woefully inadequate.
I don't know. I really don't know.
And the defenders will jump out the crack just now.
Oh yeah, well they have to defend it, no matter what.
Deflect, obfuscate, and defend.
We really have a serious management problem in this country.
But as I said yesterday,
And
while the TTPS may be the tip of the arrow, it's not the only reason that we're in this position. If you have 8 or 7 out of 10 craft in the Coast Guard down at the same time, what do you think that does to your border protection?
Exactly.
If you have the Customs and Excise Division, particularly Port of Spain, alone to itself, letting in what they want, when they want, for who they want, what do you think going to happen? So all these it's like the perfect storm.
I don't know. Yes, I really don't know. Because even I forgot to take out my garbage last night, and I decided to do it this morning at 4:00. And you open the gate, you look left, you look right, you just
Better.
you throw
better look left and right and up and down, and sideways before you step outside.
Up and down and all. And I'm saying, we really should not be living with such fear.
I'm more and more paranoid because I went and walked at 4 this morning. Walking just out to where I go out to walk. I just saw this guy walking on the road from very far, and I just automatically got paranoid and turned the corner.
Yeah.
Not even willing to take a chance to pass another human being in the street because I just don't know.
You don't know.
I just turned the corner that I don't usually go down, but I say better safe than sorry.
Yeah. I mean, even if we go to a bar, Paul, and lots of us do that.
I don't go to bars.
And no, but the point is, I'm not lying outside. I don't know who's next to me. I don't know if he has a beef with somebody. Somebody will come now and do a drive-by, and innocent me, skinny me, get shot.
What you?
Sorry?
What you?
Skinny me.
You're drinking this morning? You're in the bar already or what?
I need a coffee, but I have my coffee here. I have to drink it. I have it there.
You're drinking in the bar already? Skinny.
The bar is my office with coffee and 2 doubles. I have to eat. I have a funeral to go to this morning. That and pizza, my comfort food. But let me just start with good news to my very good friend, my very, very good friend, John Ferreira. His daughter had Kelsey had the birth of a baby boy at 5:10, an hour and 5 minutes ago, this morning, while his second daughter is at a medical facility expecting her first child. She's having some issues.
Yeah, be blessed.
Yeah, she's having. He called me yesterday and a frantic, and says, "Steve, Kelsey is bleeding. We need blood. I need blood urgently." So I dropped what I did and I said, "Okay, fine. I'm going now." And it's been a while since I gave the gift of life, and so I knew the blood bank was right next to the new Ministry of Health office. Of course, they don't have proper signage to say where to enter. They have exits. So I entered the exits. I already swung in. And they were very nice.
That's on the Jerningham Avenue side?
Well, you have to pass Jerningham. Let's say it's the start of Charlotte, opposite Memorial Park. The old one was after the Port of Spain General Hospital. At the corner of Jerningham. Is that Jerningham? Whatever the street that is. But the new one, and it's a really nice building. And that is right after the new Ministry of Health, should I call it tower? And they took my name and I said who I'm giving the blood for and so on. And she said, have a seat, somebody will call you. As I sat down, Steve Kahn, and I had like 4 other people there. So I went through the interviews and everything. And within 40 minutes, I was out of there. So good morning to all those at the blood bank of Trinidad and Tobago. It's good to give some blood, even if you have nobody to give it to, you know. And of course, they question you, and if you took any drugs, if you're this, my blood pressure is a bit high. I said, you should work on my morning show.
Your morning show?
Yes. Your blood pressure will be very high. You know, so good morning to you, and kudos to John and Lindsay and kids.
Congratulations to them on the new lives that have come in, gifts of wonderful babies coming into their lives.
Yeah, of course, Kelsey is in California and Kira is here. So
here's the good news is that WPC Kiana Mahabir is showing signs of improvement and is in stable condition at hospital. So that's extremely good. I spoke to a senior officer this morning who's still very worried for her welfare. But doctors have been able to stabilize her. Very good work from the medical professionals.
Yeah. Good morning to you.
I mean, she's seriously injured by those gunshots. I mean, 2 in your head, 1 in your breast, and 1 in your hand. I mean, very life-threatening. A bullet remains lodged in her stomach. One of the bullets went through her head and exited through her mouth.
Oh, Jesus.
So God alone knows how much, if any, damage she has. So,
oh, my goodness.
I mean, just keep praying for that young woman, because, I mean, nobody deserves that. The new information we have is that she was actually followed home and stalked from the airport. The intention to rob her. So that's the theory police are working on. So they have not said,
you know, and
it's a hit. They said it's. I think it's a. They're still sticking with the theory. It's a robbery gone wrong.
And these pests are probably sleeping right now with a smile on their face, and they have parents. They probably have a kid. They have a significant other, and they're just there. You know, they know the crime problem, but they don't care. They know they'll die young, but they don't care.
I don't even think that they think that far.
But Father Augustine has said that he blames the mothers for the way the crime situation is today, the parents. And I kind of agree with that. Show me your friends, I can tell you who you are.
And why? And I disagree with that. Because blaming the mothers absolves the fathers.
I said parents, yeah.
Okay, you said mothers.
I started with mothers and then I went to parents. So
he said mothers, which he
said mothers,
chastised for, because it's something we standardize in this country. Because fathers drop the load and ride out, so we blame mothers who struggle by themselves in many instances. And I'm not making excuses for poor parenting and bad mothers, but say absent parents, we say mothers. And I'm observing no father in this situation, none. Half the time, that's the reason why the mothers struggle in the first place.
Yeah, especially if they have more than one kid and can't keep track. And
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where's this
speedy recovery to you, Ms. Mahabir. Speedy recovery to you. And it probably will be a long road.
It is going to be a very long road for her.
But it seems that you're a fighter, and I know you will get over this.
Yeah.
You know, may not be overnight, but
other good news. Finance Minister Colin Imber yesterday, well, finally, how long is it now? On February 7th, there was that tugboat touring the Gulf Stream, which overturned off Cove and Tobago, leaking 51,000 barrels of oil into the ocean, and which washed up on some parts of the shore. The boat that was reportedly towing the Gulf Stream was the Solo Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they finally find it in Angola.
Angola?
Where through the office of the Attorney General, the boat has been arrested. Yes, they can arrest a vessel.
Yes.
So that it doesn't flee. It's been impounded in Angola. And now the search is on for the owners to apply damages and penalties. So it took a while.
But at least they found it.
They finally find this one which disappeared. Is now to find the owners or owner and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And just when you thought it was safe to be
Richard appears.
no, I'm joking. Guess who's looking to jump back into the political fray?
I kid you not. I'm looking to get back and go for a seat once Mrs. Bisessa approves
I
it.
just think Jack likes the excitement. He's not really serious.
How is my...
I think Jack Warner just likes the drama and the
Yeah.
excitement and the attention at some level.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should call it.
So the Guardian media interviewed Jack Warner yesterday and asked him if he's willing to return to the political battleground. He says he's willing to contest a seat for the UNC only if political leader Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is open to the idea. Now, you remember, this is the, how should I put this delicately? The longest political on and off marriage we've seen in a long while.
Yeah, boy.
They vex this year, they make up this year. They vex this
It's
year,
a love-hate
they
relationship.
make up this year. He say this, she say that. So the last time they make up was during local government election when Jack was campaigning on behalf of, I do believe, the UNC and possibly the NTA. Because I know he's always supported Gary Griffith and his party. So now he's saying if he's offered Chaguanas West, he will not have a lot of work to do because he left that constituency with everyone happy. Remember, he resigned from the UNC and went solo mio and won that seat. So Dinesh Rambali of the UNC is now the present member of parliament. Is Dinesh one of the so-called 5 dissidents? I don't think so. Is he? Anita Haynes, Rai Ragbir, Rushton Parry, Rodney Charles, and who? And who else? There's one more.
There's one more.
Somebody tell me now. So I don't think Dinesh Rambali is one of them. I don't. Anyway, that's a safe seat for the UNC anyway. So whether Jack is there or Jack not there, the UNC going to win that seat. Although I think is that the seat Richie Sukai has been put up for? I think that's the seat Rishi Sukai has been put up for on behalf of the PNM. So
I think so as well. I can't confirm.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If yes, Dinesh Rambali is one of the dissidents. One of my researchers just told me. So which means that seat potentially is up for a new candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack is, of course, being the master strategist that he is.
Yeah, Dinesh is there.
Suddenly reemerges as an option, and he's put it in the public domain. Well, Mrs. Pasabi says, if you want me, I'm here.
What was this party? IPL, though?
Things change.
Was it IPL?
That ILP party is still a thing?
ILP, that's it. I have no idea.
I don't even know if it's still a thing. Hadn't they disbanded? Is one of the principals getting in trouble for some confusion or the other? Anyway, people are saying it's Chaguanas East. Sukai's
Yeah.
getting for Chaguanas East.
No, I did try calling Minister Rishi Sukai a few times yesterday, even WhatsApp, and to no avail.
They make promises about PTSD that will not be fulfilled.
That an issue on his East seat.
Sips coffee.
Sip coffee. Sip coffee.
So, Jack is back, question mark. I just think Jack likes the steady pot. I just honestly think Jack just loves, he just knows his name in any conversation will get on the front page of the papers, which it has already this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack just likes the steady pot. And he's well capable of staying the pot. He's a master political cook.
The Independent Liberal Party was formed in July 2013. Yeah.
And
that's it. Just tell you when it is formed.
Is it still in existence? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I'm checking here.
When did this band, and when Jack said he was willing to go up for something or the other? That I vaguely remember it not being an entity contesting any seats anymore, but I could be wrong. I could stand corrected.
Founder Jack Warner resigned in September 2015 following the party's defeat in that said year general elections. He was replaced by attorney Rika Ramjet, who had previously served as party.
In other words, the party did.
Yeah.
That's the end of the party. That's basically what that means.
Doesn't tell me if it's
Steve, the party done. That's the mere fact that Jack says he's willing to go up under the UNC, mean the party done.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know that you could be a member of one party and offer yourself on another party. Come on, the party done.
Hey, party done.
According to Angela,
party done. We could sing that song. You want me to sing it?
No, please don't. Please don't. Please spare us. Had some nice rains yesterday.
Maybe if I sing, we'll get some more rain.
I don't think you have to sing for us to get more rain. So once again, if you just joined us, Trinidad and Tobago has been named as one of the top 10 destinations in the world to visit in 2025 in Lonely Planet's Global Travel Advisory. Their 15th edition puts TNT in the top 10 alongside countries such as Paraguay, Lithuania, Cameroon, and Fiji. The article goes on to say the Twin Island Caribbean nation's food scene is a canopy of flavors with origins in Africa, East Asia, French, Spanish, English, Dutch, Chinese, indigenous, doubles, roti, pilau, gyros, you name it. It also focused on steel pan competitions, stick fighting, calypso showdowns, and said it culminates in the vibrant costume parade of Venus Carnival Monday and Tuesday. On March 3rd and 4th, 2025, it identified hardcore experiences, Acer rides, water sport, curry crab and dumpling, Pigeon Point, and Temple of the Sea in Waterloo. So I was really happy to hear that. You know, I was trying not to talk about this. Happy Diwali, everyone. Diwali is coming up.
A week from today.
I saw the most distasteful commentary from a young man on social media, which has drawn the ire of so many people who may not even be Hindu, which was so disparaging to Hindus and the Hindu religion. It was disgusting. And he talking about he know, and it's his opinion. Keep your opinion to yourself. You're offensive. You're offensive. You understand? So he's getting dragged all over the internet as he should.
Good.
He made some very disparaging comments about Hinduism and Hindus, which was so disgusting. And to have like some authority on religion and religious studies. Keep your crappy opinions to yourself.
Actually saw
disgusting.
A U.S. news item on Diwali. Festival of
The
Lights.
White House in the US celebrates Diwali, they put out
Yeah,
balls and stuff.
Canada as well.
Yeah. But this
The
idiot to be
UK.
talking nonsense about people.
Listen, that is one idiot that just have a pulpit and he decide to run.
No, but you're going and talking like some authority.
I feel sorry for people like that. They need friends. They need something to keep them occupied.
You need to hush.
Read a book.
You need to hush. Hush. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday,
dear
Richard. Happy birthday.
Oh boy.
To you and Dr. Rowley too.
Well, thank you. On behalf of Dr. Rowley, I will also say a big thank you. Speak for him.
On this World Richard Ragoobarsingh.
You'll be blessed with many more years in your silver years. Having reached a silver pinnacle. I know you ain't had the tenure, but I know you're 3 score. You ain't had the last 10 yet. But
play yourself.
I saw your 3 score. Anyway, happy birthday to you. We wish you
thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for your rendition.
You're looking young and pink of health and smiling, and you put on that face AI generator to smooth out the face.
Yeah, you did do that.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. And thank you, Steve, croaking along.
Yes.
At least part of the way.
Yeah, I'm not that bad as Paul. I just decided to pull my voice out. But have a good day, Richard.
Right? I wanted to celebrate him and serenade him for his wonderful birthday.
A lot of messages coming on the board for you, Richie Rich.
Let's open the phones. Let people wish Richard happy birthday.
Oh, it's CJ's birthday as well. CJ.
Yeah.
In New York.
I exchanged greetings with her already for the morning.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. So happy birthday, CJ. We are fellow 24.
Everyone is celebrating birthday. Again, happy belated birthday. Giselle celebrated earlier this week.
Yesterday.
All a Scorpio? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Sorry, that is a dangerous one these days. Look at me, but you ain't see when this thing coming up in the back and you understand? You watch them and they're hypnotizing and you don't know when you get it.
You're saying Dr. Rowley's things?
At times he does. Yes. At times he does. What, you're not living in this country?
You don't hear him?
He can be quite charming, and before you know it, this thing comes from the back and whap. Shall we open the phone lines to give the audience a chance?
Yeah, let's do that. You know the numbers. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my love, my breath of fresh air.
Morning, dearie. Hi.
Morning.
Steve. Happy birthday, my love, Rich. Happy birthday. God's richest blessings to you. Mwah. I hope you have a fantastic day, and just wish you continue as good as you are with longevity and health and all the lovely different characters that you possess. You're just everything. You are my breath of fresh air on this program.
Thank you so much, Mrs. R.
You're most welcome, my love. So I'm going to let the other callers call
right.
now.
Thanks,
I wanted to be the first. Bye, Steve. Morning.
Bye. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandi. I'm calling to wish Richard a happy birthday today. I want you to live very close upper Hosine Street. I hope to also celebrate my birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Richard.
Okay. Well, same to you in advance.
I want to put you as a typical Scorpio. You know what they say about Scorpios?
What they say about Scorpios, Paul?
You're quite amorous.
Well, they say
passionate.
We say that they say
I've had 2 personal examples of that.
They say we're the rulers of those particular organs.
And insatiable.
That's what
in many regards.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Yes, sir. Morning. How you going? How you all going, everybody?
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
We good. Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Ragoobarsingh, happy birthday, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick.
You're the bunks of the guy in the Kinboy by cashews.
Once heavy blue lights.
Boy.
For sure.
And Mr. Kid Christopher Rowley too. Happy birthday, sir.
Mr. Kid what Rowley? Is Christopher you call him, right?
Christopher Rowley.
I thought you said Christopher.
You know, Mr. Patrick, if you were to get drunk and decide to talk, nobody would understand anything you say.
Would you know the difference?
Right.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. We wouldn't know the difference.
Paul Richard, will you say I drunk?
I never said that, sir.
No, I'm not saying that.
Implied that.
It's early morning, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not drunk. I'm not bad.
I would never say such a thing, Mr. Patrick. Your thought process is usually too lucid for you to be inebriated.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
All right, sir. Thanks. You have a blessed day.
Yeah, man. You two have a great, safe day. Good morning.
They try to say you have a drunk man voice.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Carol here.
Hey, Carol again.
Birthday blessings to you, Richard, for many, many more happy and healthy birthdays.
Thank you so much, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
Fernando.
Sexy San Fernando says birthday to you as well, Richard. Birthday greetings. A lot of people. Captain Ron is saying birthday greetings. Anthony in Toronto is saying birthday greetings. A lot of people. Good morning to our friend out in Baghdad. Good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you to all of you saying happy birthday. I appreciate it. Trust me, I do.
Mm-hmm. Good morning to Big E in Virginia as well.
And happy birthday again to CJ. I know she's recovering from some surgery.
From that, Ingrid Adams says birthday, beauty culture. Oliver Vaughn. Really hope you have a good one today.
Yeah.
You know, in our times. So let's take a few more calls. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. WhatsApp at 318-1021. Good morning to all those watching us on METV. All right. It's 22 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. News at the top of the hour with AV. She's in already. Gathering her stories. David West is saying happy birthday.
Thanks a lot, David.
Rena, let's see. Lots of people. Let's grab this call. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, caller.
Morning. How are you?
Good. You got to speak into the phone so we can hear you.
Yeah. Just a little bit. I just called to wish Richard Ragoobarsingh.
Thank you very much.
And God continue to bless and guide you in this turbulent times we live in, right? You, Richard Ragoobarsingh, the Anglo-Saxonic and also Indian ethnic. Have a pleasant day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
So we
very
had some
much.
good news this morning, Ragoobarsingh. They brought good news to the country. We've been named in the top 10 countries to visit in 2025 by lonelyplanet.com. So our food, our festivals, our flora and fauna, our carnival, Diwali, stick fighting, Tobago, and put us in the top 10. It's great news.
Yeah, that's fantastic
There's
news.
so much to be happy for. If we only get this crime thing under wraps, it'll be good, you know.
You'll be very good. It'll be a paradise. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Steve.
Morning.
And to all in the studio.
Good morning.
Wishing Richard a happy birthday. May God continue to bless and keep him safe to see many, many more wonderful years. This is Maria Celie.
Maria,
thank you so much, Maria.
Calling.
Richard, did you read that Jack Warner is offering himself, if Mrs. Pasabisa wants him, to run for a seat under the UNC banner?
Thank you for all of the birthday greetings.
You didn't hear me, right?
What you said? Not. We have a call here.
Oh, you're just ignoring me.
Just ignoring you. Good morning, caller.
What you said, Paul?
Good morning to the Power family. Good morning to the Power Breakfast.
Morning, Orlando.
This morning. No, this is not Orlando. This is Music Man Derek in New York.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, just giving you guys a heads up. We got Linda McCarthy Sandy Lewis. She's about to get on the flight to head to Tobago this morning. All of us is coming out of JFK directly into Tobago. Tobago is out. Boats is coming out. And let me tell you all something. If you guys don't come across to Tobago, even if you could swim, come and see those. She's going to be there until the 31st. She's going to have a ball. Okay?
All righty.
You guys stay safe.
Have a great time.
I remember about 7 or 8 years ago, Nikki and I were emceeing a calypso show in the Savannah on Friday night. And Rose was Rose was the headline performer, right? So we introduced Rose, man, and Rose, Calypso the Queen, comes out. Energy, that the action is tight and carnival. I mean, voice in perfect picture at almost 90-something years old. And then she sing 2 songs. I see Rose chipping off the stage and the band conking and stuff. So I thought be sad. It says, I'll go on by the tent. Rose sit down with a glass of beverage, sipping in the back of the stage, fanning and talking to people. I said, Rose, you done? She said, no, the band play. That's what they're getting paid for. I said, what people want to see? She said, let them play. They're getting paid for that. Rose sat the other day for 10 minutes, ran back out, sing 2 songs, come back and sit down again. You know. She said, that's what they're getting paid for. I am the style of what I want.
Well, that's what 90 plus earns you, I guess.
I was confused. And she said, Nikki, go out and dance with them.
90 plus earns you as a
said, Rose, and she come back out and she sing 2 songs again and she go back and sit down. I said, wow. And I bet you people thoroughly enjoy it. It's like she built up anticipation as to when she would come back out, sing 2 songs and go back in. And when she come out, I mean, perfect pitch delivery, everything, you know.
She's a confident performer. She's done that all her life.
All her life. Legend. The voice in perfect form and the sense of humor and all of that. Let me tell you, I said, but where was gone? So I go on looking for the stage manager. Where was? You say, Rose? Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, a pleasant good morning to you guys there. This is God Celia from Valencia.
Hey, God.
Hi, good morning. I'd like to wish Richard a very happy birthday and many, many more to come in strength and health. And I'd also like to say happy birthday to my wonderful, beautiful niece out there in Baltimore, Maryland. Today is also her birthday. So I'd like to wish her a happy birthday as well.
All right, God.
Great. Thanks a lot, sir.
You know what Rose did in the performance?
What?
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Steve, hey, this is Ron Darbo. This is Richard's brother-in-law from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Ron. Your brother-in-law's on the phone, Rich. Go ahead, Ron.
Richard, just calling to say happy birthday. Welcome to 60. The water is sweet on this side. I hope you have a great day, sir.
Richard is 60? Really, that what you said? Richard Ragoobarsingh, who has ages comments all the time, is 60? Nah.
Thank you so much, Ron.
Disinformation.
Have a good day. Have a
fake
wonderful
news.
day.
Thank you. Ron, where's Nyla?
Ragoobarsingh 60?
She's right here. Hold on.
Oh, let's get Nyla on the phone. Let's get Nyla. You can't leave without Nyla. Phone.
Hello.
Hello, Nyla. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful.
I called you last time, but like you went to bed early last night.
She was liming.
Oh, yeah. I did go to bed early last night, for sure. But obviously, I did not train my husband well enough because he was not supposed to say the age, but...
Too late.
Too late.
Well, sometimes he has a little Alzheimer's, so...
Wow. I know she runs in the family.
Happy birthday to my brother, my older brother.
You miss one more. You miss her older.
Older again.
Mhm.
Older, but old. Yeah. I wish you the best day. Have a joyful day. Do something that brings you joy and passion. You have guided me well as an older brother, and I love you to heaven and back. So.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I love you too.
All right, Nyla.
All right. You guys have a great day.
All right, guys. Thank you.
And pray for America, please. Pray.
And
We have 12 days to go.
pray for Trinidad and Tobago as well.
I always do that.
All righty. Have a good one.
All
right. One more call. Oops, see, we'll add one more call. It's not. Oh, there it is. Good morning. Good morning. One more time. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, top of the morning, fellas.
Morning.
Morning.
And happy birthday, Richard.
Thank you very much.
I also want to say happy birthday to our loving Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. And we love him for spite, infects loss. And Dr. Paul Richards.
Good morning.
I out on my bicycle, man. He's one of my favorite. Trust me. I the guy that be passing and waving on the and calling on the bicycle. When
you're the rider guy.
Yeah. I the lad. Always hailing you. I can't miss you at all.
All right.
Have
a good day,
buddy.
Have
a wonderful day, man. Yeah.
Word. All right, rider guy. All right. Let's get in the headlines. Rider guy. I like that.
Well,
all right. You have papers, Richard?
Yes, I do. And briskly this morning, and I got it. So, of course, the Daily Express for this morning. I'll start, of course, today is Thursday, October 24th, 2024. Of course, it's also United Nations Day, I believe, isn't it? I think United Nations Day is usually on October 24th. I'm subject to correction, but I believe it is. Solo Creed arrested 8 months after oil spill in Tobago. Calm announces breakthrough in Angola. Solo Creed arrested. That's the main headline. The main picture is that of members of the Shiva Gara organization perform an Indian classical dance on Tuesday as part of the opening night festivities at the Diwali Nagar at the Nagar site in Shogunas, because that's officially open for the next 9 days. Or is it now 8? Until the 30th of October, basically. That's until when it's open. I've never been to Diwali Nagar, and I always plan to go, and I never get there.
You're missing out.
I always say it's a wonderful experience. Robbery at Price Plaza. Bandits pose as schoolboys. That's also on the front page of the Daily Express this morning. And on the back page, warning for motorists after fatal crash, don't drink and drive. And relative makes plea at crash victim's funeral. All of that is on the back page of the news, the Daily Express. The sports, West Indies bats falter again. St. Benedict's maintain 6-point lead. Blank press Sando 2-0 in Premier Division, top of the table clash. So all of that is in your Express today. Moving on to the Newsday. Front page. Solo Creed arrested in Angola, but the main headline that they actually went with is schoolboy bandit strike. Workers beaten 80,000 in cash stolen in Price Plaza robbery. You'd think it's kind of difficult to rob Price Plazas. It always seems so busy and people always walking around. Song puts people first. I'm not so sure what this song is. Well, maybe I should open the papers and I'll see what it means. because it's so tiny up in the corner. Okay, obviously I'm taking long to find that, so I'll forget about it. On the back page, St. Benedict's 6 points clear. La Romaine Lions beat Presando 2-0 in SSFL, and Sri Lanka win ODI series versus West Indies 2-0. So now you know if you didn't know before. And Guardian Life president outlines goals for insurance companies. SOG puts people first. I think, that's a name. Okay, so now you know. And the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today, which is the final of the 3 dailies this morning. Jack ready to run, willing to contest seat for UNC if Kamala gives him the nod. So now you know that Jack Warner is ready to put himself back into the race. Of course, he did at the last election, but he did it as an independent, I believe. But now he's ready to attach himself to the UNC again if given the nod. Government going ahead with Precautionary refinery bids. Mother of murder victim loses hope in TTPS. And the main picture is Yogita Singh as she dances as part of the Nabali Nagar opening in Chagonas on Tuesday. All of that is on the front page on this Thursday morning. The weekend begins tonight, people, at the second after midnight. West Indies outdone by spin again. That's the headlines, the sport headlines on the back page of The Guardian. And of course, what you should also know is that you have won last night in the Port of Spain area to see this. That's extravagant news, which is on at the Central Bank Auditorium this Saturday at 8:30 p.m., which is just 2 or 3 days away because we are today's Thursday. So the weekend begins tonight, people, at the second after midnight. So yes, the play is on this weekend on Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. One night only. Get your tickets early because, of course, it's one night. And, of course, tickets available at the Central Bank Auditorium, which is open 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily at the usual outlets.
And I'll see a great job offer for you.
What's that?
And I'll see a great job offer for you. General Manager of the National Academy for the Performing Arts. I don't know how you go book yourself, but I think you'd make a great person in this position. Since you can afford to work on your own terms now. You could get up like 10 o'clock in the morning and then go when you want to.
All right. All right. Well, let me get the results of our morning poll. Yesterday, we asked you, should PTSC be privatized? That was our poll yesterday. 78%, 78 said yes.
A little confusion poll this morning.
All right, yeah. So let's go with our confusion poll. Do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general election?
I was back in that poll this morning.
Oh, gosh.
This is Dr. Holly's birthday.
I like that. That is back in that right there. All right. Do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the general elections in 2025? Yes or no? You know the numbers, but I'll still tell you. 222-8255. North Americans toll free 866-525-1099 on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Yeah, on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's see. Captain Ron says no. Got some other birthday greetings from you. Thank you so much for sending us birthday greetings. Val and Strong and so on. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's see. David Wares, not at all. John Cato, no. Andrew Reno, no. Wayne Bennett, no. Boswell John, yes. Gregory Bauer, no. Julia S. Batiste, no. Slick Money Grip, no. Let's go to WhatsApp, see what we got. Strong says yes. Val says no. I did Captain Ron already. Let's stream across here. All right. Do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general election? What says you, caller?
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Gandhi. No. Richard, I'm not hearing the bird in the background.
Okay, the birdie? Okay. All righty. Let's see. Dwayne Sylvester says no. Michael Robinson says no. Carl M. Jack. My answer to the poll is yes.
Thank you, Michael, for the steel band rendition of Happy Birthday. I received it.
Okay. Ray Garcia says no. Jess Archer Kennedy says no. That's what Lester says. Not Lester. Jess. Gerald Pollinaire, no. Lester Craigwell, no. David Nelson says no. Okay. Don't know what that is, but all right. Carol Guevara says no. Beauty Culture says no. All right. 222-8255. Toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Again, our morning poll. Do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general elections? You have 3 minutes to vote, so let's crack it in.
So 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099, absolutely toll-free, of course. People on streaming platforms, you know how to send the votes via the messaging portal. And if you're watching us on M&E TV and listening to us on smart devices, WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021, 318-1021. So now you know what all the numbers are.
And where's Wendell? Wendell said he's going to log in. He wanted to wish you happy birthday.
Matthew Tony says no to the poll. Somebody else says no. Lorna, morning Lorna. Indy, Carly, nope. Thank you so much, Lorna. Let's see. Matthew Tony. What is going on here? Right. Good morning, GNC Auto Security. Let's see. Matthew Tooney, do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general elections? Yes or no? All right. So it's coming back.
Remember to tell you about an experience a friend had going to get some information from WASA yesterday in St. Joseph.
All right. Let's see. Who got CPT Singh says Jack is back. Yes. Mrs. R says no. Good morning, Gemma Brewster, wishing Richard a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, Gemma.
Yeah. Thank you, CPT Singh. Do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general elections? Yes or no? On this, the 24th day of October. Let's see. Anne-Marie, morning, Anne-Marie out in Enterprise, the Starship Enterprise. Anne-Marie says no. Black Pearl, good morning to you, Black Pearl. Also says no. It's Diwali, so I should say nahi. Let's see. Rena Budu Jennings says no. All right. So during the newscast, you can still put in your votes. After the newscast, we'll give you the final results. Of course, the poll question will stay up on our mobile app and on our website at power102fm.com. You should get our mobile app by now. Just look for Power 102 Digital. All right. Right. Okay. So let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. AV's in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
WPC Kiana Mahabir is in stable condition and showing improvement at hospital. 5 overnight murders engaged the attention of the TTPS. ILP political leader Austin Jack Warner open to contesting a seat in the upcoming general election for the UNC. Finance Minister Colm Imber says the tugboat Solo Creed has been arrested in Angola, and Trinidad and Tobago ranks among the top 10 countries to visit in the world. Details in a moment. This is News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. WPC Kiana Mahabir remains warded at hospital and is said to be in stable condition as she continues to recover from gunshot wounds to her head, hand, and torso. 30-year-old Mahabir was shot outside her Caroni home on October 22nd after returning from performing abroad with the TNT Police Service Band. Investigators are working on the theory she was followed home from Piarco International Airport and was the victim of a robbery gone wrong. Mahabir was parked in the driveway of her home on Hydraulic Road at Kelly Village with a female friend at about 1:35 a.m. as she waited for the front gate of the compound to open. A car stopped nearby and 2 suspects, one armed with a gun, got out and approached the woman. One of the men tried to open the door. However, it was locked. When Mahabir refused to open the door, the gunman shot her through the glass before getting into the car and speeding away. Mahabir was shot in her right breast, right hand, and twice in her head. Bullets remain lodged in her stomach, while one of the bullets to her upper head exited through her mouth. According to senior police officers, Mahabir underwent surgery on October 22nd and further tests and scans on October 23rd, so doctors could determine the way forward for her treatment. Her family have said they are praying for her recovery and have encouraged members of the public to do the same. Meanwhile, 5 overnight murders are engaging the attention of the TTPS. Initial reports indicate the murders took place in Barataria, Maloney, Karapichaima, and other parts of the Northern Division. One of the murders involves a Venezuelan national. We will have more as information comes to hand. Finance Minister Colm Imber says the tugboat Solo Creed has been arrested in Angola in his wrap-up speech in the Senate budget debate on October 23rd. The Senate passed the 2024-2025 budget on its third day of debate after its previous passage in the House of Representatives. On February 7th, the tugboat was towing the barge Gulfstream when the latter reportedly overturned on a reef and then began to leak bunker oil in the waters off Cove Tobago. The oil contaminated parts of Tobago's coast and also reportedly reached Grenada and Bonaire, spilling 51,000 barrels of oil, with the government donating $50 million towards cleanup out of $134 million sought by the Tobago House of Assembly. The arrest of a ship means its restriction by court order to secure maritime legal claim and to prevent fleeing to avoid penalties. ILP political leader Austin Jack Warner says he is open to contesting a seat in the upcoming general election for the opposition United National Congress. However, he said that he will only do so if political leader Kamala Persad-Bissassa is open to the idea. In an interview with Guardian Media yesterday, Warner expressed his willingness to return to the political battleground. Asked if he's eyeing the Chaguanas West constituency, now represented by the UNC's Dinesh Rambali, he said that he is offered, or if he's offered Chaguanas West, he would not have any work to do because he left that constituency with everyone happy, contented, and pleased with his work and performance. He said that he was sure after 10 years they have not forgotten. Warner served as Chaguanas West MP between 2007 and 2013 under the UNC and won the seat again in 2013 under his independent Liberal Party. In 2020, he contested the Lopino-Bonaire West seat under the ILP and lost to the People's National Movement's Marvin Gonzalez. After 8 years away from the UNC, he returned to support the party for the 2023 local government elections. The party received 173,961 votes in that election, while the PNM got 130,868 votes. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Trinidad and Tobago's food festivals, flora and fauna, and historic sites have all contributed to TNT recently being named one of the top 10 countries to visit in 2025 by global travel authority Lonely Planet. In the 15th edition of its Best in Travel hot list, the travel guide highlighted 30 must-visit destinations from around the world. Trinidad and Tobago ranked among the top 10 alongside countries such as Paraguay, Cameroon, Lithuania, and Fiji. This twin island Caribbean nation's food scene is a panoply of flavors with African, East Asian, French, Spanish, English, Dutch, Chinese, and indigenous influences. Trinidad and Tobago's headliner, though, is Carnival. This months-long extravaganza, which features steel pan competitions, stick-fighting battles, and calypso showdowns, culminates in vibrant costume parades that take place on March 3rd and 4th, 2025, it stated. Along the highlights for the country, Lonely Planet listed bird watching at Hadco Experiences Acerite Nature Center, water sports, and curry crab and dumpling at Pigeon Point, Tobago, as well as the Temple in the Sea at Waterloo. A consultant has been hired by the government to do a study of factors relating to the work from home policy and is liaising with a wide range of persons on the issue. During the COVID-19 period, many public servants were required to work from home, and some have asked for the format to be continued. However, Public Administration Minister Alison West in the Senate on Wednesday during the budget debate says the government is in the process of finding out through a study what support systems will be needed to determine whether Trinidad and Tobago is ready for remote work. Along with the work done by the consultant, a pilot project will be done and a report should be sent to Cabinet by February next year.
What is required to facilitate remote work? How do we treat with it? Who will be responsible for what? We have engaged a consultant. They have embarked in the study, consulting with a wide range of people and so on. They will come back to us. We will do a pilot project within the next month. We will start a pilot project. And the plan is for them to report to us by February so that we can take to the Cabinet a position with a recommendation on whether we move forward with remote work or not.
Productivity and service to the public are factors which will determine whether the policy is adopted on a long-term basis, Minister West told the Senate.
More significant decision we will have to make in respect of whether or not we introduce remote work is how the introduction of remote work will impact on the productivity in the public service. We are not prepared to introduce remote work if it is going to decrease the level of production, decrease the quality of service to the public.
Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy conditions with a few showers and the isolated thunderstorm are expected to give way to a mostly hot, hazy and breezy morning. However, by afternoon, increasing cloudiness accompanied by showers and a few heavy showers and thunderstorms are expected. Tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy with showers and a few heavy showers and thunderstorms. Please note gusty winds and street or flash flooding may occur in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Note as well, there is a significant concentration of Saharan dust expected. Persons sensitive to changes in air quality are being advised to take the necessary precautions. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature at both localities is 28 degrees Celsius. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, WPC Kiana Mahabia is in stable condition and showing improvement in hospital. 5 overnight murders engaged the attention of the TTPS. ILP political leader Austin Jack Warner open to contesting a seat in the upcoming general election for the UNC. Finance Minister Colm Imbert says the tugboat Solo Creed had been arrested in Angola, and Trinidad and Tobago ranked among the top 10 countries to visit in the world. I'm Avril Sintel-Bob. That was News to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again. Come at 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. I'm being told there are 2 3-car accidents in the Gasparillo area. I'm just checking there. Yeah. southbound and northbound, very close to each other. That's in Gasparillo as you're coming across Bonaventure flyover, okay, before Harmony Hall. So take note of that. I see the accident that was by Carony is still there. Yeah, so that's creating quite a pile up this morning, okay, and that is northbound. The one by the interchange is all cleared up. All right, let's get back to our vote on our poll, where we asked you, do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general elections? Let's see. Oscar Daniel said no. Tone Loke said no. Thomas Diaz says yes. Lenny James says no. Bobby says no. And happy birthday, Richard. Right, that's all the votes I got there. More games just slid on by. Hell no to the poll. And happy birthday to the super talented Richard. Yeah, may continue to interact with us. Okay, thank you so much there, Mo Games. Right, so let's get the results. Oh, let's see. Okay, yeah.
All right, so the poll results, of course, the poll is, do you think Jack Warner will be a factor in the 2025 general election? We had how many people? 36 people voting on the poll in the allotted time. Of the 36 people, 31 of you said no, and 5 of you said yes. So 31 said no, 5 of you said yes, for a total of 36. So the nays have it, at least that's their opinion.
Colin Johnson and Ann Noel in Canada both said no.
So I would just take it up to 38.
Yeah, Michael Oliver too.
33 people saying no and 5 people saying yes.
Yeah.
How old is Jack Warner now?
So of course you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day through our programming and give you the final results tomorrow morning, which will be Friday.
How old is Jack now?
Jack is 81 years old.
Okay.
26 January 43. If you're on Ryson Road, there's a small protest by Tea and Tech. As I say that, before I bring my guest online, which will be by telephone, what was the WASA story there, Paul?
A friend of mine paid her WASA bill online the day before yesterday, and kept not seeing it registering online as being paid.
Me, I'm good.
So Rich, your mic on.
Let's just listen. Might be fun today.
Not to be boring. They'll say, I'm good. No, I ain't doing anything. Oh, thank you so much. That's the conversation.
Or, anyway.
Or,
she went to WASA.
You might double palm at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
So she went to WASA in St. Joseph to get more information and bounced up on this young woman at the counter. So she said, good afternoon. I'm here. Yeah, what you want? Good afternoon. I'm here to inquire about my bill. So she started to explain what was going on. The young woman said, hold on. And some person also behind the counter came and proceeded to show her something on the phone, which my friend had to endure. She looking at this person showing her something on the phone.
On a private phone.
Customer. Pissed off, number one. So she stayed calm. She said, you have to give me the account number. She said, I don't have a bill on me, but she said, if you paid it online, it will come up on the online thing. She said, okay. The girl is being so rude that she don't know if the Face ID to open the phone is not working. And she kept saying, well, give me a minute, it's not opening. Well, we had to get that, move aside until you get that now. And she said the whole experience was so horrible. The person was so rude. Eventually she got the Face ID to open the device and get the number. She said, well, the bill was excellent. No, all I want is the number. WASA. Train your people. Train your people.
Did she get a name? She didn't get a name.
I told her if it was me, I need to see a supervisor now.
Oh yeah, if that was me.
No, I don't want to deal with
It
you
was
again.
going
I
on.
want to see us. I want to see the person in charge of this office now.
Yeah.
She
She's
said
lucky
she
it was
left
not
that place.
me.
She said she actually, and she's somebody who was a senior manager at TSTT and trained people in customer service. So she's very particular about customer service. She said the young woman was so rude and obnoxious that she left the place shaking in anger, trying to restrain herself from saying something very obscene.
Yeah. I would say,
She should have
can I have your name?
She should have made a formal complaint.
She's
You could
going
do
to.
that. Yeah.
She's going to. She said she's going, but she was so distraught at the end of the experience that she didn't want to do it in anger. She wanted to sit down calmly and write about the experience to send it in and copy the board of directors of WASA.
I was going to say, what's your name there? Hold on. Kelvin, and
Some of them don't want to get your name.
I have a young
Yes,
lady
please.
called, you know,
Call
she
for the
has
supervisor and let this
call for a supervisor, correct?
She was so upset how she called me. She said, I need to tell you about the experience just to calm myself down. I said, again, I'd be all over social media.
You will never get that service in Pet Butler. That rude service. Tell you that much. All right. I have to call my guest via phone. Give me a second.
Let's start this doing that because the government services that I have gotten excellent, polite, efficient service from in some government services. So it's not the entire government service.
No, it's not. I had excellent service.
Agree with that.
I had excellent service at the blood bank yesterday. They were so nice and
several
polite.
government agencies that are extremely efficient and professional.
Absolutely. Of course, and one of those places is the theater, which will be on this weekend and one night only at Central Bank Auditorium at Saturday at 8:30 p.m. That's extravagant news, where you will always get polite service. We are on this weekend. Of course, the box office at Central Bank opens from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Tickets available at our usual outlets: K-Squared Fashions, Westmall, Eastgate, Brentwood Mall, and of course, Arima, Electronics, Shabili Rabbit, Tunapuna, Tony's Florals, Val Park, and Sharpler Auto Services. Get your tickets early because it's one show only this Saturday night, and it's the final performance in Port of Spain of that extravagant news. What's in the Dark Comes to Light. You can see our latest video, which has some of the wonderful comments people have been giving on the play as we have been traversing the country. Really great comments and feedback.
Well, let's say good morning to Mr. Gideon Dixon. Good morning to you, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Welfare Association. How are you this morning?
Good morning, sir. I am good, all things considered. I've had better days, but I'm not complaining. I trust all is well with you and the team at office there.
Well, today is Richard's birthday, so he's buying us breakfast and drinks for all of us here at the office.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. It is a Scorpio, man. Nothing is wrong with that, man.
Yes.
Good man.
Listen, don't let Steve can pull you into fake news and false information. Is it ASP Dixon, right?
You are correct. You are correct. You are correct.
Good morning. First of all,
ESP by profession.
First of all, our prayers and support are with your colleague, WPC Kiana Mahabir. We are lifting her up in prayer and wishing her all the best for a full and speedy recovery. And to your colleagues who must be shattered by this situation.
Yeah, well, the police association is shattered within the last 2 weeks.
And also condolences on the loss of two of your colleagues in the last 2 weeks. Can you give us an update on WPC Mahabir's condition?
The last I communicated with her relative, her aunt in particular, she indicated that she was stable. There has been slight improvement, and all our prayers continue to go in her direction. I tried to get in contact with her this morning before I got to the program, but that did not materialize. So probably during the course of the day, I'll get another feedback.
We saw a video, and according to news reports, the police seem to be working on the theory that it's someone followed her from the airport after coming back from performing with the police band in New Jersey and Bahamas, and it was a robbery gone wrong. Can you confirm or add any more information to that?
I wouldn't be able to confirm at this point in time. Though I would have reached out to a senior officer who indicated that they were at a sensitive stage, I would prefer not to comment on it because I'm not part of the investigation. Nonetheless, for what the footage would have revealed, we could see that Miss Kiana, just to be alive at this point in time, is really a true testimony to that there is a Lord above. And even with that, she being strong will and a fighter, our prayers are working at this point in time. That is as much as I could say at this point in time.
There's no doubt police officers have been targeted directly in the past. Do you think this is another wave of targeting of officers?
I will not go on record and say that. I will not go on record and say that police are being targeted via criminal means. We have not yet made that linkage with any level of evidence to say that. We did in fact have, just prior to Ms. Mahabir, the two incidents involving Officer Peterson and Officer Blaisdell, who footage again was captured there, and the footage only tried to assist you in the investigation subsequent. There has not been the confirmation that the persons who perpetrated the acts knew both officers. We would have gone on record and expressed our condolences to the family. And in Mr. Peterson's instance, we have offered a $20,000 reward for any information leading to his perpetrators being brought before justice. We continue to support our social work units, our VSUs, and our investigators on the ground. With Mr. Blaisdell, we also would have offered our condolences. But it is a sad place for the country to be when you are seeing the frequency in which law enforcement have been attacked within the last 2 weeks. It also occurred in the earlier part of the year. If your records reflect, we had at least 3 killings early in the year where police officers were attacked. Nonetheless, we cannot at this juncture say it was because the attack was because they were a police, right? We have persons with criminal intent. I think that they are not even given consideration whether you are over the age of 80 or you are under the age of 5, or you are a female or a male. They are doing it with impunity, and something needs to be done where that is concerned, especially when they are brought before competent jurisdiction to be dealt with according to law.
Yes, I was wondering, we had an interview yesterday with Gavin Hira, of course, and he was saying that, he has a lot of police officer friends, and he says that in his assessment, the morale of the TTPS, at least among his friends, is pretty low. So I want to get your sense of it, because you have the deaths and murders of certain police officers. You also have the criticism that's often leveled at the TTPS by the citizenry, who, of course, feel under attack and don't always feel that the response is as it should be. And of course, they also blame the national security infrastructure, etc. Even though, of course, the TTPS does have wins where you already do good jobs in certain situations. Is it that the rank and file, and maybe you'd have a better sense of this, is their morale low with regard to all of the challenges that the TTPS faces? Or is it that they manage to somehow keep motivated?
Well, it's an excellent question, and also commentary by Mr. Hira, who is well known for having a lot of insight into law enforcement and have made a lot of important public commentary, which I think that sometimes we could do more as a people in listening to some experts and their contribution, and see if we could implement some of the strategies they would inform the national populace. Having said that, I could simply say that the officers, my officers, we feel that we are constantly under pressure. We signed up for the job, knowing fully well that is a job that it is not for the faint at heart, but you must be strong-willed, strong purpose, and wanting to serve your country. Right? We have done that. But in this instance here, when you look at the police as an institution, a separate institution from all the other institutions, you would appreciate that there has been a decay in all institutions, even the police service, because I'm not saying that we are perfect. But all the fallouts of institution seemingly comes back to reside on the police. So when there's a breakdown in the home, you call for the police to get in there. When there's a breakdown in the school, you call for the police to get in there. When there's a breakdown in the community, you call for the police to get in there. When there's a breakdown in institutions, you call for the police to get in there. And no one is treated with the breakdown. So the root cause are never being dealt with. We are only symptomatic and responsive in our approach as a people. And that needs to change, especially if we want to go the way of first world status. You must find time to treat with root cause before you could just simply deal with symptoms. That is just temporary relief. And the police is being blamed for every single thing. We continue to work with less than favorable conditions. We continue to work with less than adequate strength in terms of our numbers. We continue to work with leave restrictions impressed upon us. We continue to work with lack of tools and resources. We continue to work as if we are the average public servants. We continue to work in times when you are saying we're in a crime pandemic, but yet still the Ministry of National Security gets the third largest budget. Yet still the police service, whatever you say you are allocated to them, we cannot get, and then monies have to return to the Treasury. We continue to see where our officers are faced with the perils of moving from .38 ammunition and 9mm ammunition in the community and on the streets and the nation roadway to now 5.56 ammunition and 7.62 ammunition. Almost every time you hear of a crime scene and something taking place. So times have changed significantly, but yet still we expect that the officers with all these constraints to operate as optimal with our 1,400 officers plus short. And you're not providing the necessary PPE and sufficient enough training, and then you want to speak to wanting to cut overtime when you have 10 men job to do and you only have 5 persons to do it, and you want a level of effectiveness and efficiency, but yet still you are talking things that not really making much sense. We want to hear the strategies. We want to feel the strategy. We want to feel appreciated. And every time I get the opportunity, I'm going to speak about the COVID. Every single time we lost 39 officers, and not a commendation, not a validation, not a consideration of gentlemen and women who sacrificed their life during that period. We acknowledge, because it was historic, nothing for the police to date. And just remember, the police are human beings too.
Mr. Dixon, ASP Dixon, all the things you just outlined seem reposed in the leadership or the senior management of the service. Is that what you're laying question to this morning?
Well, I wouldn't just lay it there alone. They have to also answer and say what they are doing to likewise those in authority. Because let's go a little further. I'll get back to them in a little bit. Let's go a little further. We, for the last 10 plus years, have witnessed where guns are the preferred weapon of choice used by the criminals. But we are seeing that the criminals are not prepared to rest on their guns. They are prepared to come, they go into the schools, they go into the hospitals, they go in by the church, they are going even by the beaches. They are going every single way and committing offenses. If and when they are held, they are also getting bail and come back out. And if you look at the rap sheet, most times it is not their first offense. We are seeing where persons are being taken before the court and revolving in the system. But yet still, our laws have not changed to the point where we are making it difficult, or we want to send a message to those persons and say, yeah, what happened? If you pick up a gun, you understand the consequences that you will not come out until the matter is determined. The message is not strong enough. Instead, the message is one where the young person who is impressionable, seeing this happening and seeing that Tom Wrong or whoever committing offenses, getting the opportunity to revolve in the system and come back out and commit more offenses, then they and all might feel empowered and emboldened to want to do the same thing. So that happening, we have not yet established gun courts to treat these things if we say we want to move to swift justice as opposed to certain justice. But nothing is happening, so it appears that we are sending the wrong message and expecting to get the right results. That is one. The other issue is the issue of leadership. I have often gone on record and said, leadership impacts performance. Leadership is the difference between influencing others to either meet the target or going beyond the target. We are in a situation right now where I believe with the amount of internal issues facing the organization, it is sending a message to us at the lower levels of the organization that our leader, and in some instances, our leaders are not sufficiently caring about what is happening on the ground. So the buck doesn't stop there. And those in authority have a responsibility. You cannot be saying in one breath, crime pandemic. And it is the major fundamental issue that we need to treat with. But yet still we are playing with persons' lives. We are gingerly treating with the issues that are affecting us the most. And then you have others, when the police act, and you have persons from Amnesty International to wherever would come and say, yeah, what happened? Let's deal with them in a particular way. Our conversation has to change as a people. Our conversation needs to change as a people. If we really want to see a change in society, the conversation has to change. At some point in time, we have to take a moratorium and say, yeah, what happened? Enough is enough for them. We cannot be continuing to do the same thing and expecting to get a different result.
I saw you made a comment recently on the issue related to...
Could I finish, please, sir? We could wait for the 3,000 plus body worn cameras to come in to have a police version of what would have occurred. Whilst we just saw CCTV footage of what took place with the woman police. We have saw CCTV footage of what took place with Mr. Peterson, of what took place with Mr. Wendell. We see CCTV footage. That will aid in investigation. Investigation will cause us to bring somebody before justice. But then we still going back to the same circles. And then we have not even made reference to the other agencies in law enforcement that needs to play their part and also need to be held accountable. So when we are prepared to have these serious discussions, And when we are prepared to call an all to account and take responsibility for what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, is until then. Until then, we will see any kind of meaningful change.
The issue of, I know you would have made some comments concerning the issue of the police officers, well, alleged police officers. Well, I shouldn't say alleged police officers. Huh? Police officers, seemingly police officers, taking the latest kidnapped victim out of that bar. And I know, and then of course the memorandum that was issued by the Commissioner of Police, where only certain units were allowed to wear tactical gear and the others had to return and go back to the gray shirt and the pants. I know you had your association had some commentary on that. I don't know if you care to share that with us, because of course you saw the lines of police officers exchanging their uniforms. I mean, my personal view is that you catch people rather than change uniforms. So you should be aggressively pursuing who those people are, because it can just happen again. And so that the issue of changing the uniforms, I thought, was a simplistic approach to it. And I felt that that made no sense to me. This is just my opinion. I'm giving you ESP Dixon. But what's your take on it as the head of the Police Welfare Association?
Sir, let me go on record again and say the commissioner is well within her remit for recalling uniform. So well within your remit for recalling uniform. However, let me also go on record and say, whereas the laws of Trinidad and Tobago speaks to the prohibition and penalties being imposed on persons who who would be in possession of the camouflage or the army uniform, there is no laws in Trinidad that speaks to a person in possession of police uniform. And that in itself, if you have a law that speaks to impersonating a police officer, but the apparel that was used is apparel resembling that of police officers. We have seen within the last couple of weeks where persons who are bona fide police officers would have put on the uniform and did a criminal act. We have seen where those persons have been called before justice to answer for their criminal deviant behavior. We have seen in the other breath where persons adorn themselves in what appears to be police apparel and defense force apparel. And yes, we are in support of bringing those same persons investigated and bringing those same persons before justice and let them answer. So the association endorses what you would have said there. We are not in full support of the direction taken by the Commissioner of Police, and we have gone on record and said so. We are saying, particularly as it relates to our task force officers in the divisions, where we have to date over 500 and we recorded over 512 murders so far for the year. Our task force officers, we ought not to make them uncomfortable in terms of their turnout and appearance and what they do, because they are the persons who you would see responding to instances and scenarios just like what occurred in front of St. Francis College just recently, where someone was murdered, 2 persons were shot, going down in the drain, officers dive in and move to confront the criminal element and retrieve items of evidential value. We would have seen, over and beyond that, that these are the same persons who would go into the bush, into the terrain, into the water. Sometimes they have to carry the the K9 unit officers with them who have to carry a dog. You are saying, based on the memo, that these officers, we need you all to conform with our customer service uniform. And nothing is wrong with the customer service uniform, because whether you are in the tactical or in the customer service, it is expected that you perform the duty with that repute, with that semblance of professionalism that will breed confidence in what you do. But it makes no sense when you would put persons at a disadvantage to get the job done. Because again, 21st century policing, modern day policing suggests when you are in a situation like what we are in Trinidad and Tobago, where 5.56 rounds and 7.62 are the order of the day, you need not to appear to be less than what you are engaging. And we also need to be cognizant that we don't make firearms here. And the prevalence of what is taking place suggests that they are coming through somewhere. Whether it is through the customs, shore, porous borders, or wherever it is coming. Enough is not being done to plug those holes. But all the blame and all the fingers continue to point at the police. So we often feel that we are we are doing the most ungrateful job, and we are treated like pawns in a chess game.
Yes, Dixon, would there have been any consultation with the association from the police leadership on the decision about the uniforms?
There was none. There was none, and you are the first person to ask, and I am going public and say there was none. There was none.
Is there generally consultation with the association? Because I guess because you mentioned earlier on that, but correct me if I'm wrong, there didn't seem to be a crime plan, or maybe the crime plan isn't working the way it should be. And is there consultation on those sorts of issues with the association? Is it that you implied earlier on that there's no strategic or crime plan, or is it that it's not adequately, it's not working adequately?
Well, it's a good question. The things we often try to communicate with our leadership, with our leader. Let me say with our leader. And the reality of the situation, that does not transcend sufficiently into us having those meaningful meetings. At different intervals in communicating, we would have said that we'll have monthly meetings, but those monthly meetings sometimes extends well over 3-4 months before we can get another audience. We understand that the commissioner plate is heavy, it is full. And we understand sometimes that because of that, we might be able to get the meeting. But I will say this.
When is the last time you met with the commissioner as an association?
Could you repeat?
When is the last meeting you had with the commissioner as an association?
It could have been, it could have been late August, early September, all things being equal. I could validate that and get back to you, but it would have been sometime around that period. Nonetheless, I think that we as an association continue to demonstrate that we are very, very functional. We are in touch with the members, and we believe that bringing issues to the commissioner or to any stakeholder responsible, we don't just go with the issues. We often meet with our think tank and we come up with solutions. A lot of the things affecting us are not major things that cannot be addressed. You see, we have to remember that people are people, and how you treat people, you would expect a response. So hurt people. You continue. We are in a system where promotion hurts people. So we feel that there are things that could be done to insulate the blow that hurt people get in the promotion system, so that we'll continue to be functional and effective in our delivery of service, both internally and externally. We are saying that the fact that we are not getting sufficient I don't know. We don't have sufficient vehicles. There are strategic ways we could get things done. We have hundreds, probably thousands of vehicles parked up in different places, whatever the case is. There are ways and means. We need to be more innovative in our thought processes to get things done. Sometimes we are taken aback. And every single time we engage any stakeholder, the record would show that my executives have consistently gone there with not just the issues, but solutions for consideration. And it's about wanting or having a desire to try something different. Because if you look and examine what we have been trying and see that it consistently have been coming up short, there is no peril, there is no harm in trying something different.
Let me ask a different question. Have you had meetings as the association with the relatively newly installed minister in the ministry, because he has a portfolio of the TTPS Minister Scotland SC?
We have had none to date. Actually, let me also say, the minister reached out to me yesterday and he asked how soon I could meet. I told him we could meet now. He said, give him 5 minutes to call him back. The meeting is next week, please. Supposed to be next week, please go. But what I understand by that is this. The minister was appointed end of July, early August. We are nearing November. I represent from a formal position the leader of an association that is well over 7,000 in membership. You have a TTPS together with our SRPs that are very close to 10,000. You have the Defense Force that is an ally in law enforcement that represents another close to 5,000 or 4,000 persons. You have not met with your association to date. This is an indictment on the minister, and I'm saying it publicly. You have met with everybody else. And when the minister came into office, at that point in time, we had a 20-something item of issues that we felt that we would have gotten the opportunity to meet the minister and troubleshoot and cover results. That hasn't materialized. Our police officers are expected to operate as if we are the robots that they are investing in within recent times to Elon Musk and those persons. The police officers are human beings too. We have families, we have friends, we have people who look up to us, and we have feelings too.
Has there been any, although as you said earlier on, there is no established link between the 3 recent attacks on officers, 2 of which being fatal, advice to officers about their goings and comings in terms of more precautions and stuff like that? Any other measures if only as a precautionary measure?
So, Dr. Richards, that is a very valid point. It run across my mind. Even in all my conversation recently, I haven't taken the opportunity to tell all the serving officers, and even those who would have served and would have resigned or retired within recent time, and members of the public also, because we are in some times here that we have never experienced before. It is the fastest we have reached this number in terms of murders in our country history, and we are measured more so, the police service is measured more so on our impact on murders. Police officers, you must appreciate that we are the first line of defense, and we are also the last line of defense. When there's failure everywhere, we are going to be called upon to protect and serve. That is what we sign up for. We now more than ever have to exercise a greater sense of due diligence and a greater sense of vigilance. We have to be our brother's keeper, and we also have to be the guard between the civic-minded, law-abiding citizens and those few in numbers who are causing us this mayhem and this distress. Let us not be daunted by the shortcomings of the system, by the shortcomings of those who are not seeing it fit to do more where we are concerned. Let us band together and be the protectors, because the next person who becomes a victim to crime and criminality could be our family member. It could be even any one of us. So we need to exercise a greater sense of vigilance and a greater sense of due diligence in all that we do.
It would be remiss of us not to have you on and not ask you about the present status of the implementation of body cams and your association's perspective on that.
We welcome the body cam, sir. We welcome the body cam. I want to record the show. We welcome the body cam.
So then why would the director of the PCA recently indicate that in all the, I think it's the last year in police-involved shootings, that he and his agency have received no body cam footage in those instances? And the information he has that he shared with us is that there were 2 body cams on two of the incidents. One, the body cam fell into the mud, and the other, the body cam was inappropriately operated. Is there some sort of reason that you could share with us for that?
I cannot share any reason where that is concerned. That might be the data that the goodly gentleman has. I know that not just Mr. West, but we have others who often in their space and place speak to having a lot of information, which sometimes I cannot qualify based on where I am, but my office would suggest that whilst I'm in consultation with the officers on the ground, I could say that we have no issues in utilizing body worn cameras, because we know.
Are they being, from the information you have, are they being employed consistently? I think they're supposed to be about 1,000 out in operation now, if I'm not mistaken.
There was supposed to be 745. There was supposed to be 745 and 200 in training. So with those data and the fact that we had 10 divisions, with 10 divisions and well over 20 sections, and you have 745 in rotation, you would appreciate that you will have some challenge in terms of getting it around. But I'm not here to make no excuse in relation to the body worn cameras. I am saying, let the record show that once our officers are trained, we are prepared to utilize our body worn cameras.
All right, let me be more specific. So you say once your officers are trained, how many officers have been trained to your knowledge in the use of the body cams?
The DCP operations and DCP administration will better give you that information.
So you as the association's president don't know how many of the officers are presently outfitted with body cams of the 750 that are supposed to be in circulation?
The record could also say that too, because they wouldn't send that information to me. They wouldn't send that information to me. I might have to, if I ask for it, I might not get it. I might have to use that freedom of information to get it. But I'm saying that the repository of that information, you can get that from the DCPs. I'm sure they would provide that information to you and to the members of the public.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mr. All the best to you. Thank you.
Yes, gentlemen. Take care. Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. Right. Of course, as the president of the
I've never seen an issue where the answers are always so nebulous on that particular issue. The answer is always so nebulous. No matter who you're asking, the answer is always very nebulous. Don't you realize that? You ask the police leadership, the answer is nebulous. You ask the association, the answer is nebulous. So nobody knows. All we know is that there are 750 body cams available. Officers have no issue using them, but we can't get a straight answer as to if they're actually being used. Happy birthday, Richard. What's your plan for today?
None really.
Heineken, roti,
doubles.
None of the above, actually. I have a very ordinary day plan.
My birthdays, I like them to be very, very low key also.
Yeah, I'm a very ordinary.
Nobody bother me. You know, nobody harass me. Cancel all my double palm subscriptions. We could take 2 more calls with Richard. Happy birthday.
I have a basic chores to run today, I would say.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Stephen. Thank you for taking my call so late. I fell asleep. Happy birthday, Richard. Happy birthday to CJ.
No, say happy 60th birthday.
Yeah.
And happy birthday to Dr. Rowley. Happy 60th. No, I'm not going there. People like to
he always call you old man.
People, I don't care, but I know that he never asked for my age, but I was always tell people I'm as old as my tongue and a little older than my teeth.
Yeah. Oh, as old as your tongue. True words have never been spoken. I could vouch for that.
That is why Richard used to say I belong to the gang, Syria gang. And I ain't care. That's an honor, you know. Many people ain't gonna live to reach my age. Ask your mother how old age is an honor.
It's an honor and privilege.
All of you are creeping up to that. So
well, you know, that's why I limit my time with you, because you're very vampiric. I think when I leave your presence, I feel drained and, you know, sapped of my youth.
That's why it has leave sometimes.
I feel sapped of my youth when I leave your presence very often. I can't catch myself.
Don't try that.
Sap away my life force.
Me and I'll get to suck no fun, suck nobody youth. You understand me?
Okay.
Right? So don't try that, yeah? Right. Okay. All right, in case anybody else wants to pop in a happy birthday, bye.
Yeah, I have lots of calls.
Enjoy it. All right. Bye.
Thank you very much, Zina.
All right, let's take another one. Good morning. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Listen to Mr. Dixon there. As a senior citizen in this country, I find it has have too much of, according to Dr. Richard, too much of nebulous excuses. A lot of the police don't want to use the camera. They make all kind of excuses. They're too heavy, they're too this, they're too that. And if you is the leader of an organization, you know nothing. When you have meeting, you're supposed to ask your officers what's going on. And next thing, I want to know if you have people in the union, the so-called union, this go. Because I remember in the 50s and the 60s, they had all bacchanal with the union and police. Right?
All right.
This is something they're playing too much a game with, and now the problem coming back home by them. I sympathize with the police, Because all in the 80s, 60s, and 70s, I used to run Besson Street with Burroughs and that guy, Mr. Blaisdell, and things. Therefore, you should do the work. If some of them do wrong thing too. So let's start to get this organization to represent police. They already complaining. I know. And the judiciary, next thing, I want to know if they have a little meeting between themselves to say, boys, look now, this thing we're going on in this country, we have to do something. The police can lock up everybody, cry them to court, and it usually give them bail. That is the problem, you know. It's almost 20 years now I'm saying that, and they're supposed to start back the hanging. Plain and simple. People said, what the other countries doing? But when they're talking about Singapore and El Salvador, when the man in El Salvador say, hey, is either all you do what I do, or all you get locked up, then people should cut off people's hand over there, you know. When you teach
Thank you, caller.
Right, thank you, all the best. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.
Have a wonderful day. Happy birthday.
One more call
Enjoy
for
your
Richard,
day.
and that's it. Good morning.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
I would have liked to hear if the commissioner if there were no discussions with the organization, who would have had the police commissioner would have had discussions with, or if it was just her decision, or which body, who she discussed this with? Is there anyone that she would have discussed this situation with about the uniforms?
I assume the leadership that's around, sir.
Yeah.
The deputy
All right.
commissioners.
Thank you, caller.
All right, this is where we wrap up the Power Breakfast Show on this morning. And just reminding you, of course, the theater is on Saturday. Our final show of That's Extravagant News in the Port of Spain area. One show only this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. at the Central Bank Auditorium, one of our favorite theaters of them all. And, of course, the box office at Central Bank Auditorium opens from 12 noon today. And, well, it opened yesterday. But it's open from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, so you can get your tickets. And you can also get your tickets at K-Squared Fashions, West Mall, East Gates, Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, Electronics in Arima, Jabili Rawi in Tunapuna, and Tony's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza and Shaflair Auto Services in Shaflair. Get your tickets early. It's one show only, so you know there is limited seating. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health, and it also helps de-stress you. Have a great one.
All right, Richard. Have a great birthday as well. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve.
Okie dokie. Right. So let's get into our. My mouse is giving me problems. Here we go. Yeah, let's get into 8 o'clock news brief because AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update at 8 o'clock. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. She's showing slight improvement and all our prayers are with her. That's the update and sentiments that were shared by head of the Police Social Welfare Association, ASP Gideon Dixon, on the condition of WPC Kiana Mahabir. He told the Power Breakfast Show this morning that he tried to contact her today but was unsuccessful. However, the fact that she's still alive is a testament to God above. ASP Dixon was unwilling to go on record as saying that there seems to be an all-out attack on police officers, despite the fact that several officers have been attacked and killed or severely wounded recently. He said that presently officers feel like they are constantly under great pressure. He said while they are aware of the job they signed up for, he noted when there are breakdowns in various institutions, the police are called and eventually blamed, whether it's in the home, schools, or otherwise. He stated that crimes have changed significantly and officers are operating under various constraints and are being expected to do a lot. Meanwhile, 5 overnight murders are engaging the attention of the TTPS. Initial reports indicate the murders took place in Barataria, Maloney, Karapichaima, and other parts of the Northern Division. One of the murders involves a Venezuelan national. Finance Minister Com Imbert says the tugboat Solo Creed has been arrested in Angola. He made the announcement in his wrap-up speech in the Senate budget debate on October 23rd. On February 7th, the tugboat was towing the barge Gulfstream when the latter reportedly overturned on a reef and then began to leak bunker oil in the waters off Coast Tobago. An ILP political leader, Jack Warner, is open to contesting a seat in the upcoming general election for the opposition United National Congress. However, he said that he will only do so if political leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar is open to the idea. Well, that was the update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
good morning go out to our guest, the Honorable Minister Fitzgerald Hines. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mr. Khan. Good morning, Wendell, Paul, and
Richard.
Richard. Good morning
Good
to
morning,
all of your
Minister
viewers
Hines.
and
I think,
listeners.
with the exception of Carnival, I've never
morning,
seen you
Minister.
without a jacket. With the exception of Carnival,
He's impeccably dressed already
he's
this morning.
always in a full suit, and I've never seen him in a short sleeve shirt.
I can quite easily,
if
if it pleases you, because very shortly I should be on my way to office as always. And if it pleases you, I can fetch my jacket.
No,
should
that's
I?
fine.
That's right. What you can do for me, Minister, is something is blocking your camera a little bit on your
Okay,
right hand
thank you.
side.
Let me
Right,
try
there you
and
go.
sort that out
Thank you
for
so
you.
much. Wonderful.
Fixed.
Excellent.
Yeah, good morning, Minister, and welcome to the Power Breakfast Show. I mean, you're
Morning.
no stranger to the program, so
And of
welcome.
course, let us offer condolences to the People's National Movement on the passing of Minister Hippolyte. Minister.
Former Laventil
Minister.
West MP, former Laventil West MP, and Parliamentary Secretary Nigel Hippolyte. Please accept our condolences, because you would have replaced him in that seat, didn't you?
Yes, most certainly in 2015.
Yes.
Let me join in our expression of condolences to his family, his wife and children, and all of the folks who he loved and who loved him, including, of course, the constituency of Laventil West. All of the sentiments expressed since his passing were very similar in the sense that he was a man of dignity. He worked very, very hard. He represented his people with passion. And I join you all, I join Trinidad and Tobago in expressing condolences to all of his family and, of course, to the PNM, because we are just one big family as well. Thank you very much.
Condolences. Minister, would you care to weigh in on our question this morning?
Should the laws be amended regarding parents' use of corporal punishment to discipline their children?
Should the law be amended?
Yes.
I quite honestly, I understand the current pathways that the world has taken. I was a member of the Joint Select Committee back in, I think, 97, 98, which would have been chaired by Diana Mahabir-Wyatt, when we did that in relation to the schools inside of the school system. But now the call has grown to what it is, whether it should be of more general application to reach into people's homes and that sort of thing, and inside of the families and so on. For my part, the jury is still very much out on that. I have not yet heard from the jury on that just yet. So for the time being, understand the challenge that parents face to discipline children. I understand what that form of discipline did with me. It didn't cripple me. It didn't do me any harm, any irreparable harm. In fact, I think on the 2 occasions when my father applied corporal punishment, I remember them with fondness today. I mean, I must admit that, he might have thought those too severely or seriously teaching moments. And I must say I learned from them. On one occasion, I sought to be gambling. He gave me a small sum of cash. And after purchasing the things that we shared, I sat with my god brother, and this was a Christmas day, and decided to play a game of Goto Pack or something like that for the balance of the little cash that we had. And when I gleefully told my father that I had won, I saw him turn upside down because he thought he didn't want his son to be engaged in the business of gambling. And he took the opportunity to say so in his own way. And I must admit, it lasted all through my life because gambling is not part of my general operation.
Thank you for that. Minister, can you give us an update on, if you have any information, on the kidnapping of this 33-year-old businessman, Mr. Ramnarayan, and what are your thoughts on the seeming, I don't want to say resurgence, but the 2 high-profile kidnappings, well, 3, because one was, Ms. Hussein was fortunately ended properly, well, safely a couple of months ago, but now we've had one where someone was killed after a ransom was demanded, and one where someone is still his whereabouts unknown. And this has been now 3 in the last 6 months or so.
Well, before I say that, just for completeness, let me say, at the same time, in respect of corporal punishment from parents and guardians, I do not expect, it is not desirable, because some people lose control of themselves in their anger or feigned anger and get to the point of high levels of brutality, which of course is not required. So I do understand the balance that has to be struck in the discussion, but as I said, the jury is very well out for me. In respect of the question that you have just raised, kidnappings for ransom is quite a serious crime. It is not new to Trinidad and Tobago, nor indeed new to the world. And it is a very traumatizing kind of crime. And I know of the 2 cases of which you spoke. They are gaining the attention of the police, and I am aware that the police are exerting best efforts to bring in them, particularly the one where the victim is still not yet recovered, bringing them to a swift and successful conclusion. We've had our spates of this before, and things were done, and I am aware as Minister of National Security that some other things are now being done in an effort to try to unearth the perpetrators and most of all to secure the victim in dealing with this. These are very, very serious and sensitive matters, and it requires a different type of policing because, you know, different types of crime call for different kinds of policing. These are very difficult ones because you're dealing with a fragile situation where your victim, the person you want to secure, is not in your control, not even in sight. And therefore, those who have him in captivity, they have that advantage. So you are negotiating. There are police officers who would have gone abroad and who would have trained to deal with this. We've done it successfully before. And I'm confident that we can do it successfully.
Are there international players in this new spate of kidnappings?
I'm sorry?
Are there international players, non-national players in this new phenomenon of kidnapping? This new, I don't want to say wave because I don't want to give the wrong impression, but these new kidnappings.
When you say international players, you mean on the side of law enforcement, supporting law enforcement?
In the side of perpetrators.
Well, one at this point, one doesn't know because no one has been charged for the offenses yet. As I said, the police are engaged in their inquiries and their pursuit of the victim. So that is yet to be determined. But as I said recently to the national community, while most of the crimes that we traumatize over and justifiably so in Trinidad and Tobago have been perpetrated by nationals of Trinidad and Tobago, there are cases where foreign nationals have committed serious crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, there are cases where Trinidadians and Tobagonians go in other countries and commit very serious crime. In this day of the hitman, it is not unheard of that a hitman leaves one country and goes to do a job in another country. So it is possible, but the police have not yet determined that as a fact just yet.
Well, many years ago, we had a problem with kidnapping, and we got it under control in terms of I think the agency back then was sought that that particularly looked at that issue and managed to make really serious inroads, bringing it down to virtually non-existent, at least for a couple of years or so. But now that we have seen a resurgence, I'm not afraid to say use the word like Paul. Now we have seen a resurgence of this happening in the country. Is it that the national security infrastructure has dropped the ball? Or what are we not doing that we were doing back then that minimized the occurrence of kidnapping?
I would not say that at all, Richard. Actually, the policy, the government's policy remained the same. The law enforcement platform faces and names would have changed, but they are working in the same policy. They would have trained similarly, locally and regionally and internationally. So I wouldn't say that the techniques are different. The technology has actually improved since that time. I was on deck at that time, you know. I was minister in the Ministry of National Security along with Minister Joseph. May his soul rest in peace. And I'm very familiar with some of the things that were done there.
You're muted,
Yeah,
Minister.
he muted himself.
Yes, Minister, you muted your microphone.
He has to look at the camera to see us. Thing.
Yeah, you muted your microphone, Minister. Yeah, hold on.
Wave at them, guys.
All right. All right, Minister Hines, if you could unmute your microphone, we'll be able to hear it.
I think he leaned over to touch his phone and may have muted it by accident.
No, I don't know where he disappeared to. There you go. Minister
Sorry
Hines.
about that, gentlemen. Sorry.
Right, there you go. Yeah. Right, go ahead.
Yes, gentlemen, I'm with you again. Sorry about that.
Minister, just to go a little further on with Richard's question just now. We know we have had several reports, or at least of alleged fake kidnappings. Okay, is that a concern that in some of these cases there might be actual hits on people that are under the disguise of a kidnapping?
It is all possible. The criminal in today's world is a very creative human being. The workings of the human mind are what they were, and in some cases we've seen that stranger things actually, Wendell. So it is quite possible. But again, as I said, the particular matter or matters of which reference was made a while ago are being investigated, and the facts will become clearer when that is resolved. But it is very possible that that can be the case. The one prior to the one that is being investigated now, a ransom was negotiated, and with the family, I am advised, and eventually the man was still found dead.
Yeah.
So you have all of these nuances. I don't want to comment. I should not comment more wholesomely on those matters, because those are facts to be determined by the investigators. So like you, I must wait. But I do know that they are in pursuit of this. And as I said earlier, I pray that they get to the bottom of this quickly. And you see, there's a deterrent element when you resolve these things very quickly and positively and wrap it up and arrest people like in the previous one, not the last one under investigation now, which yielded 2 police officers. That is very, very important, because detection of crime, swift resolution of these crimes, and ensuring that the criminals do not benefit from the crime financially, it is very important as a deterrent in itself. And I think that is probably what we would have seen in that time, back in 2005-06, when we had that problem, when SAUTT treated with the matter.
How concerned should we be? Sorry, let me just finish this point, Richard. How concerned then should we be in light of that particular kidnapping of Mr. Kunj Bihari that ended in murder? How concerned should we be of police officers using the equipment at their disposal to commit such crimes? How concerned should we be? Because we have not really heard anything from the police except a change in uniform and so on. How concerned should we be?
Very concerned, because the facts in the previous one revealed 2 police officers. And in Trinidad and Tobago, in our history, in our policing history, for decades, since the 40s, the 50s, all the way through to today, yes, we have found that police officers, trained and paid and sworn, have committed all kinds of crimes. I don't think there's a particular crime for which some police officer over those many decades have not been charged. And that is not unique to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. In fact, as you would have heard me say, speaking to you, crime is a function of the sinful, greedy, bullish nature of the human being. And whether he's a police officer, a teacher, a radio presenter, we are all vulnerable to committing crime, and certainly all vulnerable as victims. But we have to be concerned, because To whom much is given, much is expected. When we swear in and we enlist and we pay persons to protect us, and it turns out that they get involved in other things, then it is very, very disturbing. It is not new to us, and we treat with it as happened in the previous matter, where they are charged and they're before the court and the law must take its course. I mean, we have many cases of police officers committing crime. I think recently, yeah, we have many cases of that. So, you know.
But that's a recent order from the commissioner about the return of tactical uniforms because of the situation where fake or real police have been seemingly committing crimes using police uniforms, using tactical uniforms, pulling up in black cars with blue lights. Is that an indication that the police service feels that there has been the misuse of those uniforms by some officers? And what about the next phase of rooting out those officers? Because taking all the tactical uniforms out of the system is one phase, but the officers who are prone to committing those egregious acts will still be in the service.
Well, I took the trouble to find out, to inquire, and I am told from a respected and authorized spokesperson for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that even in the last kidnapping, where issues of the tactical unit resembling that of the police officer arose, there has been no confirmation that it was actually police uniform. And in many cases where this discussion is not new, we've been here before, it is not demonstrated that it was actually police-issued uniforms. What you have is a case of kit resembling that of the police. So the matter that is in front of us now, confirmation that it was actually police uniform. Now, I saw the videos as everyone else did. And from my own personal, and I take it that this is only mine, you may have a different view. I did not form the view that it was any genuine police officers. They didn't look the part in terms of the way they operated, in terms of the actual uniform. It did not look the part. But of course, even if the victim of their crime did not form the view that they were police officers, they by then had guns pointed and were in control of the victim and in control of the scenario, such that no one else can have intervened to protect the victim, and they were able to take him away. So whether or not it is actually a police officer will depend on the facts. Whether or not it is actually police uniform will depend on the facts. But in any event, once the power and control is in the hand of the criminal on the scene, then it is extremely difficult for the victim. He's taken away, and not for the first time put in a black vehicle resembling that which police officers would use with blue lights and taken away. So what is required here? Well, of course, the issue of the uniform is very, very important. And there is, of course, a crime when it comes to impersonating police officers, as you would know, a fundamental offense. I heard only last week in an interview with you all, a former commissioner was advising that we, the society and the police in particular ought not to pay attention to the issue around the uniform. So the crimes are which the uniform is used to perpetrate, whether it is police uniform or whether it is uniform looking like police. But I think the basic offense, because you can find someone, and the way the law is written in section 62, it takes into account, even if you are not wearing it, and it is found in your possession at your home, or even if you are wearing it but not engaged in a crime, it is a standalone offense, and I think that makes great sense. So there is a standalone offense where you pay up to 30,000, and there's a term of imprisonment as well in section 62 for having what appears to be police uniform and using it in a manner to perpetrate crime, or at the least to hold out that you are a police officer. That is what impersonation is. So I support the fact that it is a standalone crime and it is important. And of course, if other crimes are committed using it or around it, well, certainly on the facts, on the evidence, persons have been charged and should be charged for additional criminal offenses, whether it's firearm or robbery or kidnapping or so. That depends on the facts, and then they will be charged, and they have been charged for additional offenses.
I don't disagree with anything that you've said there, Minister. But the issue of the police commissioner or whoever, and I have to say it's the police commissioner, sending out that memorandum of changing the units that can utilize that uniform, I felt, in my opinion, was a simplistic approach to the issue. The issue of dissuading people using uniforms is to catch them. That's the greatest dissuader to criminal activity, that you will be caught and you will be held accountable. And I don't know if you can frame this within all of the money that the Ministry of National Security has been allocated over the years, and the new camera network that was rolled out or is currently being rolled out. You have vehicles with flashing blue lights, people dressed in uniforms. The vehicles leave. At some point, they must get on roads where there are cameras, because Trinidad and Tobago has a finite amount of roads, and certainly you must get onto a main road, a highway of some sort, in terms of whatever criminal activity you have done. And sometimes I think citizens are a little bewildered as to whether those cameras are actually working, one, and whether there is real-time monitoring and following of vehicles in terms of solving of crimes. This is just one incident, but I go to the point that the issue of changing the uniforms is a kind of rote response that doesn't, to me, make sense, because no uniform has a magical quality of it that it can't be reproduced. So it means that the issues of reproduction of police uniforms can occur again, unless you start catching and holding people accountable. Then people will say, look, it's a bad idea because I will be caught. And that's where I think it needs to be focused. But if you could address the issue of whether the technology is really making a difference, because for a lot of the citizens, they don't feel that it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I can testify to the fact that the technology is making difference. It has, improved it as a technique that the police use in order to assist in dealing with crime. But of course, I agree entirely with you that it is catching them and detecting the offense and catching the criminals. That's the greatest deterrent. And this is why the way the system is structured, the police commissioner, she has jurisdiction for hiring and firing over all officers from the rank of assistant commissioner down to the last joint recruit. The law provides for that. The Constitution provides for that. And of course, the Police Service Commission has that similar jurisdiction in relation to the commissioner and the deputies. The laws are in place, the technology is in place, and this is why the society calls on the police, as you are now doing, to account for the way in which it carries out its work. And I agree with you that it is catching and detecting the offenses that is the major thing. But in fairness to the police, and I'm providing no defense for them, they will do that for themselves. In fairness to the police, there are many scenarios where the police, using the techniques, the telephone, using the CCTV cameras, using the vehicles, using the uniforms and all of this stuff, and using the roads and intelligence. There are many situations where they were able to catch people, sometimes in the act, sometimes fleeing the crime scene. And yes, like they have had many successes in terms of home invasions, intercept the people leaving the scene. They have solved kidnappings, they have solved murders. So it's a question of more and more, and the society is entitled to expect more and to hold the police service accountable. Part of my job part of my job as Minister of National Security is to hold the police service accountable. And yes, I agree with you that we ought to the society is entitled to expect and to look forward to more.
Well, Minister, I mean, just to go along with what Richard asked, and you've just attested that the technology, they are in fact working. Why aren't we being told? Because one of the part of gaining the confidence of the citizenry is at least to let people know that this has worked. We were able to track this vehicle through this road. We saw where it went, and we have captured the perpetrators. Why isn't that being done?
Well, to some extent,
additionally, the detection rate.
I would agree with you that more can be done. More can be done in that regard, Wendell. It has been done. I've seen the police display successes, say about it. But of course, as you know, as media people, good news travels a lot slower than bad news. And it is the same for complaints. When there are issues of satisfaction, the society reacts, yes, and it is satisfied, but they are not as vociferous. We are not as vociferous in our satisfaction as we are in our dissatisfaction, but it is for the police in that regard to do more. But they have had some successes, and I can only urge them to do more. I think, as you would have heard me say, not just the police service, but Trinidad and Tobago's entire workforce. I believe as a person, as a citizen, and as a minister, that we can be more productive, we can do more, we can achieve more with the results we have. If Trinidad and Tobago's workforce would improve our productivity quotient, so to speak.
Minister, one of the things that my understanding is that is happening continuously is the issue that despite the investment by the Ministry of National Security in jammers and other technology to deal with inmates calling hits from inside prison walls, this practice continues unabated, and quite a large number of the crimes we are seeing committed are originating still in the prisons, in addition to the fact that the prison is supposed to be a no communication zone and a no-fly zone. But my understanding is that drones are still dropping contraband continuously inside the prisons, particularly in the East. Can you comment on these two issues, please?
Well, I am not in a position to say that it continues unabated, because I happen to have some information as Minister of National Security that the public may generally not have. So I would not say that it has continued unabated. I have seen and I'm told in regular reports of the impact of the technology and the inability to communicate in the way you have described in many, many situations and cases. Yes, there is an increase in, and you see, as you improve one aspect of the security platform, the criminals move and improve their techniques in the next. So it's always a game of catch up, and in some cases there's some anticipation and you put things in place. So yes, we have seen more frequent use of drones, and that's because other ways have proven to be a little more difficult. But it is a work in progress. It is always happening like that. Some people may say a cat and mouse thing, because the mice is always there to pounce, and the cat is always there watching and to pounce on the mice as it guards the cheese. So it is an ongoing thing. So the drone issue is real, but that is being attended to in different ways. I can't tell you of the details of that because it's part of the techniques that they use, but they have been successful in dealing with many, many, many drones. But yes, there are incursions with drones. Recently, the prison authorities searched and found a mass of phones in a particular facility. And for me, what I learned from that, it is that with all of the technology you have, the question of integrity and the individual, we spent money on a 360 radar system, but one officer without integrity might be able to turn a blind eye and render that expensive equipment useless if he or she is compromised. As a result of that, you find yourself now having to deal with a fundamental issue of integrity. And that is to say, police officers understanding that the public pays and they are sworn to behave in a certain way, and they must do that. So one of the things we did recently is to go to Parliament with an integrity and other modern means of integrity testing for prison officers, police officers, fire officers across the gamut. Paul, you would know, because you would have dealt with this in another place and supported it. And now the work is ongoing as you do more and more to secure integrity, because when they did the search and they found out
He's getting calls.
Yeah, somebody keep calling his phone, that's why.
Not somebody's public life is like that, gentlemen.
I figured that was happening.
And the only time you have a zone of peace is the 4.5 hours that you sleep during the night. And when you get up, you look on the phone and you see that there were calls.
That's part of the job. The issue of integrity testing, I wanted to ask one question before we have to end about if you have concerns about police officers engaging in what is described as moonlighting. I know the protocol is that the commissioner must approve officers, for example, doing private security work or having interest in, for instance, bars, which I understand is quite, I don't want to say prevalent, but an issue. Do you have concerns about these kinds of potential conflict areas where officers are concerned?
If you are speaking about the most recent incident with the police sergeant who unfortunately, and I extend condolences to his family and the police service as well, who lost his life, there's a suggestion that he was what you call moonlighting. That particular officer was, I am told, on suspension, but even if an officer is not in suspension, the law permits the commissioner to grant permission to officers of the police service to conduct other business once the commissioner is satisfied that it will not affect their performance of their police duties. And over the years, officers have been so authorized. Within recent times, we, the government, recognizing this, raised the issue with the police service and expressed our concerns about that, particularly when the society is quite justifiably calling for more of the police. That was done, and that matter is under review and treatment by to say to you, I hold you all directly accountable. I saw a video recently on social media where you had former Commissioner Gary Griffith. And as far as I'm concerned, as I listened to that interview, I spared a little time because my approach has been to ignore him as a time-wasting nuisance sometimes. But on that occasion, and I'm happy that I did, I decided to listen to a bit of it. And the more I listened, the more I heard untruths and perhaps downright lies. And I hold you all accountable for that, because when you all have information to share with your listening public like this morning, I think you all need to call serious people. Mr. James Filbert, who in that interview I heard this Gary Griffith casting snide criticisms and remarks on about a national award. I mean, it's so undignified and classless, especially when it is not founded in truth. You have James Filbert alive, you have Mr. Williams alive, you have Mr. Jacob alive, you have Mr. Snaggs alive, you have.
But you use your good office to have them acquiesce to interviews, Minister.
Yeah.
I will, if I don't think
we've been trying to get them on without success.
Minister, yeah, exactly. We have tried and they have said no. We have tried and they refuse to answer their phone.
But I don't know that the minister can coerce former commissioners. I
never said coerce. I said invite and encourage.
But they are all men of some dignity who I respect, and we share mutual respect. And I will take the trouble to reach out to them and mention what you have. But in the course of that discussion, I saw this former yapping, noisy, undignified, in my view, frankly speaking, commissioner.
Minister behave. We stop him when he speaks ill about people.
Let me just say this, right? And I heard him go on at least 3 occasions, and I thought he should have been stopped or thrown out. But in any event, he displayed a police badge. Do you know it is against the police standing orders and against Section 55 of the Police Service Act if what he displayed is a genuine badge? Because I can tell you, it is not beyond people to display what appears to be a genuine police badge, and it may be a police badge but not his. But if it were his, then the law in section 55 of the Police Service Act demands that you hand over all items of kit to the police service upon your departure from the office, whether you are resigned, whether you retire, or whether you are fired. You have to hand it over. And when I saw the display of that badge, I took some concern. It is even in breach of standing order, departmental order 134 of the police service. And what irked me in the discourse to which I just spoke is that there were so many inaccuracies, so many untruths, and it is unfair to your viewers and listeners to listen to him in that. And therefore, I would certainly have a word with my friends, the former commissioners, exercise some moral suasion, and hope that they would join you all so that the public will benefit from serious discourse on serious matters from formerly career officers who have the facts and have no political or other acts in a half-educated way.
You reference the badge that Mr. Griffith displayed, and your own was you don't know if it's legitimate, you don't know if it's a TTPS badge, and to me, only the sitting commissioner would know if the badge was returned or not. So I think you have.
And the law provides that the former office holder hand it over, and the law provides for criminal offense if that's not done, and the law provides that a warrant could be.
There's a lot of ifs in there because you don't seem to know if it was legitimate, if it was handed over or not.
Well, I'm just telling you, there's no ifs in what I've just said. I'm telling you what the law provides.
I'm not talking about the law. I'm talking about the badge that was displayed. Do you know if it is?
I can't know. I didn't have sufficient sight of it to know whether it is an authentic badge and whether it is his or whether it is an authentic badge belonging to another police officer who may have. I have no idea, but I do know that a police badge ought to be handed along with other items of kit back to the police service.
Well, wouldn't the commissioner know that, the sitting commissioner? Or shouldn't the sitting commissioner know that?
Well, it would have preceded her, wouldn't it? There was McDonald Jacobs in between.
I don't wish to get into the more details about it because there's where all the ifs will come in. But I've just stated to you what I saw and what the law is, and how your viewers and listeners could benefit from more serious discourse on the serious business of the perpetration of crime against this society, whether, as largely is the case, by citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, or whether it is on the few occasions when foreigners come here and commit crime. And I agree with your implicit suggestion that we are to expect more from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and I would like to see more from the entire workforce of Trinidad and Tobago. Greater productivity will yield better results. It will grow the economy. The quality of life will improve, and we will all be satisfied when we go to bed that we did a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. If all police officers could say that and go beyond the call of duty as they're expected to do, and all other elements of the workforce could do that, then Trinidad and Tobago will be better served and be in a better place.
Point taken. I just want to correct David Ware's first division officers are in fact gold-plated badges, and Inspector Down are silver-plated badges, right? So they have there are gold-plated badges for first division.
Yeah. And then I finally, and then I heard him say so flippantly and deceitfully and deceptively that they canceled the badge. That's not true. Nobody
canceled it. He did say that the day after.
But he likes to present himself like some victim, when in fact he's just simply a nuisance.
He's a politician, Minister. He's a politician now, you know.
But I'm a politician too, but I hope never to be justifiably branded a nuisance. And I hold you all accountable for that. But I will speak to my friends, as I have said twice, and try to persuade them so that your viewers and listeners will get what you really intend for them, seriousness rather than trifling.
Additionally, Minister, if we could have the commissioner on our program as well.
Again, I would exercise moral suasion in this regard, and I give you the assurance. Gentlemen, I would like to thank you for your time.
First.
yes, I would like to thank you for your time. Good luck, but I must depart my home now and proceed to the office to do my work as I do in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister, thank you very much. I have to speak with you. But
there is a connection between government policy and law in the sense that all laws start as some type of government policy. So, for example, in Trinidad and Tobago, we would have had the recent national policy on persons with disabilities. And that policy talks in very strong terms about the need to both enact laws to provide for the human rights of persons with disabilities. It also talks about the need to amend laws that we have on our statute books right now that discriminate against persons with disabilities. So once that policy is adopted and approved by the cabinet, then the process of making it a law can begin. The difficulty with the policy remaining as a policy is two things. One, it's not enforceable. So it does not really give you any rights legally because it's just a policy, it's not a law. And the other thing is that policies can change over time. Policies can change over time as the needs of the government or the focus of the government itself changes. It can change if the government itself changes, so that it's not enough for us to say, well, we have a policy. We have to take that further step to make the policy a law, because that is what will give full protection for the human rights of persons with disabilities.
Wonderful.
Fixed.
Excellent.
Yeah, good morning, Minister, and welcome to the Power Breakfast Show. I mean,
Morning.
you're streaming to the program, so
And
welcome.
of course, let us offer condolences to the People's National Movement on the passing of Minister Hippolyte, Minister.
former Laventille
minister.
West MP and Parliamentary Secretary Nigel Hippolyte. Please accept our condolences. Because you would have replaced him in that seat, didn't you?
Yes, most certainly in 2015.
Yes.
Let me join in our expression of condolences to his family, his wife and children, and all of the folks who he loved and who loved him, including, of course, the constituency of Laventille West. All of the sentiments expressed since his passing were very similar in the sense that he was a man of dignity. He worked very, very hard. He represented his people with passion. And I join you all, I join Trinidad and Tobago in expressing condolences to all of his family and, of course, to the PNM, because we are just one big family as well. Thank you very much.
Condolences. Minister, would you care to weigh in on our question this morning?
Should the laws be amended regarding parents' use of corporal punishment to discipline their children?
Should the law be amended?
Yes.
I quite honestly, I understand the current pathways that the world has taken. I was a member of the Joint Select Committee back in, I think, 97, 98, which would have been chaired by Diana Mahabir-Wyatt, when we did that in relation to the schools inside of the school system. But now the call has grown to what it is, whether it should be of more general application to reach into people's homes and that sort of thing, and inside of the families and so on. For my part, the jury is still very much out on that. I have not yet heard from the jury on that just yet. So for the time being, understand the challenge that parents face to discipline children. I understand what that form of discipline did with me. It didn't cripple me. It didn't do me any harm, any irreparable harm. In fact, I think on the 2 occasions when my father applied corporal punishment, I remember them with fondness today. I mean, I must admit that, he might have thought those too severely or seriously teaching moments. And I must say, I learned from them on one occasion. I sought to be gambling. He gave me some a small sum of cash. And after purchasing the things that we shared, I sat with my god brother, and this was a Christmas day, and decided to play a game of go to pack or something like that for the balance of the little cash that we had. And when I gleefully told my father that I had won, I saw him turn upside down because he thought he didn't want his son to be engaged in the business of gambling. And he took the opportunity to say so in his own way. And I must admit, it lasted all through my life because gambling is not part of my general operation.
Thank you for that. Minister, can you give us an update on if you have any information on the kidnapping of this 33-year-old businessman, Mr. Ramnarayan, and what are your thoughts on the seeming, I don't want to say resurgence, but the two high-profile kidnappings, well, three, because one was, Ms. Hussein was fortunately ended properly, well, safely a couple of months ago, but now we've had one where someone was killed after a ransom was demanded, and one where someone is still, his whereabouts unknown. And this has been now three in the last 6 months or so.
Well, before I say that, just for completeness, let me say, at the same time, in respect of corporal punishment from parents and guardians, I do not expect, it is not desirable, because some people lose control of themselves in their anger or feigned anger and get to the point of high levels of brutality, which of course is not required. So I do understand the balance that has to be struck in the discussion, but as I said, the jury is very well out for me. In respect of the question that you have just raised, kidnappings for ransom is quite a serious crime. It is not new to Trinidad and Tobago, nor indeed new to the world. And it is a very traumatizing kind of crime. And I know of the two cases of which you spoke. They are gaining the attention of the police, and I am aware that the police are exerting best efforts to bring in them, particularly the one where the victim is still not yet recovered, bringing them to a swift and successful conclusion. We've had our spates of this before, and things were done, and I am aware as Minister of National Security that some other things are now being done in an effort to try to unearth the perpetrators and most of all to secure the victim in dealing with this. These are very, very serious and sensitive matters, and it requires a different type of policing because, you know, different types of crime call for different kinds of policing. These are very difficult ones because you're dealing with a fragile situation where your victim, the person you want to secure, is not in your control, not even in sight. And therefore, those who have him in captivity, they have that advantage. So you are negotiating. There are police officers who would have gone abroad and who would have trained to deal with this. We've done it successfully before. And I am hoping, I'm confident that we can do it successfully.
Are there international players in this new spate of kidnappings?
I'm sorry?
Are there international players, non-national players in this new phenomenon of kidnapping? This new, I don't want to say wave because I don't want to give the wrong impression, but these new kidnappings.
When you say international players, you mean on the side of law enforcement, supporting law enforcement?
In the side of perpetrators.
Well, one, at this point, one doesn't know because no one has been charged for the offenses yet. As I said, the police are engaged in their inquiries and their pursuit of the victim. So that is yet to be determined. But as I said recently to the national community, while most of the crimes that we traumatize over and justifiably so in Trinidad and Tobago have been perpetrated by nationals of Trinidad and Tobago, there are cases where foreign nationals have committed serious crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, there are cases where Trinidadians and Tobagonians go in other countries and commit very serious crime. In this day of the hitman, it is not unheard of that a hitman leaves one country and goes to do a job in another country. So it is possible, but the police have not yet determined that as a fact just yet.
But many years ago, we had a problem with kidnapping and we got it under control in terms of I think the agency back then was sought that particularly looked at that issue and managed to make really serious inroads, bringing it down to virtually non-existent, at least for a couple of years or so. But now that we have seen a resurgence, I'm not afraid to say use the word like Paul. Now we have seen a resurgence of this happening in the country. Is it that the national security infrastructure has dropped the ball? Or what are we not doing that we were doing back then that minimized the occurrence of kidnapping?
I would not say that at all, Richard. Actually, the policy, the government's policy remained the same. The law enforcement platform faces and names would have changed, but they are working in the same policy. They would have trained similarly, locally and regionally and internationally. So I wouldn't say that the techniques are different. The technology has actually improved since that time. I was on deck at that time, you know, I was minister in the Ministry of National Security along with Minister Joseph, may his soul rest in peace. And I'm very familiar with some of the things that were done there.
You're muted,
Yeah,
Minister.
he muted himself.
Yes, Minister, you muted your microphone.
He has to look at the camera to see us. Thing.
Yeah, you muted your microphone, Minister. Yeah, hold on.
Wave at him, guys.
All right. All right, Minister Hines, if you could unmute your microphone, we'll be able to hear it.
I think he leaned over to touch his phone and may have muted it by accident.
No, I don't know where he disappeared to. There you go. Minister
Sorry
Hines.
about that, gentlemen. Sorry.
Right, there you go. Yeah. Right, go ahead.
Yes, gentlemen, I'm with you again. Sorry about that.
Minister, just to go a little further on with Richard's question just now. We know we have had several reports, or at least of alleged fake kidnappings. Okay, is that a concern that in some of these cases there might be actual hits on people that are under the disguise of a kidnapping?
It is all possible. The criminal in today's world is a very creative human being. The workings of the human mind are what they were, and in some cases we've seen that stranger things actually, Wendell. So it is quite possible. But again, as I said, the particular matter or matters of which reference was made a while ago are being investigated, and the facts will become clearer when that is resolved. But it is very possible that that can be the case. The one prior to the one that is being investigated now, a ransom was negotiated, and with the family, I am advised, and eventually the man was still found dead.
Yeah.
So you have all of these nuances. I don't want to comment. I should not comment more wholesomely on those matters, because those are facts to be determined by the investigators. So like you, I must wait. But I do know that they are in pursuit of this. And as I said earlier, I pray that they get to the bottom of this quickly. And you see, there's a deterrent.
I believe that without legislation in Trinidad and Tobago, pretty much nothing gets done. And when it comes to people with disabilities, legislation will assist in by way of education and especially employment.